Well, hello there. Are you all ready for today's stream? I am. I actually am. Unless I have done something wrong, everything is good. Let me just bring up some music. I think, there we go. I was ready before I started streaming, except for the fact that the thumbnail was incorrect. I wanted to start off with the stream, and I don't think I've actually said this, and I think it really does need to be said. I am, and have been for about 2 months now, constantly surprised by the quality of cars that you guys are uploading for me to try out. Just absolutely fantastic work you guys are doing, and I love it all. Fantastic sort of stuff that we're seeing. We still do get beginner cars, and I think they do deserve a little bit of attention, so we've put a few of those in here. But yeah, let's get on to saying hello to everybody. So we have Budini, first one here. Well done, mate. Then we have Apollo. Welcome. Then PTR0815, I believe I have one of your cars, if not two of your cars today. Space Warrior, welcome. Ozani, I don't believe I've seen you around here before. Welcome. Then we have Crownless and Fanny Faxbear. How's it going? Yeah. Got some of your cars in there? Good. But yeah, I saw the one about the people copying my MGF. That's fine. You can go ahead and do that. I want to do that as well. But I didn't want to get my hopes up because I was so scared that this is going to be a scam for me to go over there and not actually get the car that I wanted and sort of thing. So I held off on everything. I did not price any EV parts because the last time I priced them would have been in 2019. And I didn't, I knew I wanted to do an automation build of that car, but I held off. And one of the things I wanted to do was actually make a mod body for it, like a complete mod body. But I didn't want to start it because I didn't want to get my hopes up. But now that I finally have that car, I am so excited. So yeah, that one will come eventually, just not right now. Welcome, Firebird. How's it going, bruh? Welcome, Zake Roblox. How's it going? Hello there, mate. How's it going? I'm doing pretty alright, actually. Little bit, fatigued because my sleeping pattern is a little bit haywire at the moment after dealing with all of last weekend and then having to wake up super early for that, podcast that I released yesterday? Technically 2 days ago, but yeah, anyway, if you guys haven't seen the podcast, it's in my Discord, under announced videos, there's a podcast in there. I did it with Shiny Odd, Twin Turbos, and Uncle Vens, or just Vens now, actually. We did a podcast. We're going to do it once a month. I'm going to have a bit of a sit down. We'll talk about cars, talk about a few other things, but yeah, you can go check that out if you want to. But yeah, that got me up, waking up at about 8:45 in the morning, which is like not the earliest, but it is pretty early considering I am now streaming 1 day later, starting at midnight. So yeah, my sleeping pattern right now is not the greatest. And then after last weekend where I tried to set up a normal sleep schedule and then sleeping on the side of the road in the back of a ute tray on an air mattress, not the greatest at getting good sleep. So my sleep has been a bit all over the place. And if you're wondering why I was sleeping in the back of the ute, I just released a video earlier today about a road trip I did last weekend to pick up the MGF, which I was just talking about a minute ago. Yeah. Oh, life got a little bit crazy there over the last couple of weeks. Welcome, Elias Hekinen. How's it going? Sounds a little bit like Hakkinen. Yes, my car is there. I assume you know what my car is. I remember to put it in my upload. Okay, yep, I did get that one. A little bit of a long-winded description there, so I had to kind of just abbreviate it just a smidge. Really kind of interesting. I do like the backstory. I do love a good story. I just don't like reading. But yeah, I also had to condense it a lot. I don't know what accent I just used. Sounded like an Australian accent there, Zake. I'm assuming. I remember to put my YouTube name in the upload. Good. Welcome, TJW. How's it going? Welcome, Shivi54. How's it going? Finally, we're back, though my car still isn't here. Oh, that's unfortunate. Sorry to hear. Ah, yes. Where Philman pull multi-level marketing on drug dealing in 5M. I actually have an old video on 5M where I don't know if I explained it properly, but it's such a fun video. Everyone would just go get the drug, do that sort of thing, and then they would bring it to get sold, and they would just run around an area and then leave when they get a denial, because that immediately means that the cops get a ping to a location of where stuff is happening. So what I decided to do with my friend, and I came up with this plan, we were going to dress up as construction workers and just hang around construction zones, and then we would sell to the construction workers, and then when the police would come, and then we're dressed as construction workers and we bring up like a clipboard or a wheelbarrow or something like that, the cops are like, I don't see anybody running around, I don't see any drug dealers, what's happening? And we're there just going, please move along. And it was so funny, they would just leave because nobody was doing like proper blend-in roleplay. And it was pretty funny. I actually really upset one of the, what do we call it? Officers. The role-playing officers. Because he must have seen that video. Because the next time that I tried to do it, and he came to my location, he couldn't find me the first time around. The second time he came around, he was really angry. He came right up to me and tried to arrest me immediately without any evidence, and then ended up tasing me or something like that. It was really stupid. That was really not fun. Welcome, Max Churchill and Nicholas Quirino. How's it going? My man Bear out here packing it in trekking. Outdoorsman Phil. Correct pronunciation? Good. Which one was yours? The Rivero Bolognese. Let's have a look, see the car that missed today. So we're gonna go top. Oh, okay. This week. I don't think it's that one. I don't actually see any vehicle by that name in the last week, Shivi. Also, I don't mind you using my mod bodies and all that kind of stuff, that's fine. And I don't mind you doing whatever it is you want to do to the mod bodies. But there is basically no design here at all. There's no finesse, no nothing. That is low effort, and that's why you didn't get any votes. And that's why when I was picking the beginner cars, oh, actually, there is an interior. But, like, there's nothing really there. It's monotone. Like, the body at least is a two-tone. Yeah, I don't see your car here. That's unfortunate. Welcome, Jumbo Jacob. How's it going? Have you decided whether you're EV swapping your MG or not? I'm gonna be doing some parts getting this week. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to order a gasket kit, so that'll be like, it's not the cheapest, but it's about $300 to get the whole gasket kit. I'll get the gasket kit and I'll work under the assumption that at the very least I'll be fixing the motor, because if anything I'll probably have all of the motor and everything, the motor fixed up and everything, whilst also sourcing EV parts. And if I come up against something that I can't get due to parts shortages, or the price is too much, then the EV could just come to a stop and I could sell those parts, because used those parts are still actually quite good for like not dropping in value, currently at least. Hello, one of my 2 favorite upside down YouTubers. Oh, okay, what's your other one? That's the pronunciation of my name, not correct, but I liked. Nicholas Quirino. Quirino? I don't know, bro. It was uploaded a few weeks ago. Oh, Chibi. No, it's only the previous week. It's always week by week. Yep, cool. Welcome, McKike to... How was there a pronunciation on N? What? I'm just gonna say Dran. Welcome. How... Oh. Usually you see this on vowels, at least when an English person sees it. The, like, accents, like you've got on your name there, is usually over a vowel, because vowels have different sounds, and unlike English, you guys actually generally will have, like, differentiations on those sorts of things to know what sort of sound it is. But I've never seen it over a consonant that's so... standardized. Like, there's no mispronunciation of N. Apart from if you say N versus N. That's so weird. The Montego drag car, I wrote to Grammatic System about the inexistence of design and said if you put more effort into it, I would give it a vote. And he was like, no. Oh dear. The reason I don't want to use the F1 body is because I want to replicate the suspension setup of a real car. I mean, the custom J-beams, I don't have enough time for that. Okay, Crownless. I understand what you're saying. And I'm thinking, because somebody actually did it in a video today, or maybe somebody was talking about it, I'm going to do a tutorial on how to make custom suspension kind of work in BeamNG. It's not going to be the best thing in the world because the way in which animations work, what we have currently with suspension is usually it's a double wishbone sort of thing for most sort of suspension except for solid. And the suspension bits that line up with it just move with the axis of the thing. So things are always a little bit off, which is why you see the springs a lot of the time act real janky. So I'm going to show a thing where you could do there to improve that a little bit to look like what you want it to look like. That will take a lot of Blender work though, and just a little bit of J-beam. And yeah, my brain ain't working so well right now. Oh god, my brain isn't working. Yeah, so the way in which BeamNG does it, it actually has lots of little things that are called props. So each individual suspension part is an individual suspension part. So that's how they get a much better deformation, or like, not actually deformation at all, but like actual articulation is actually what it is. As opposed to suspension, which actually deforms. No articulation whatsoever. MG would be a rocket if it had a supercharger. Yeah. Even still without it, it's a very fun little car. Very fun. It is very light as well. To Dran, you from Poland? Okay. I'm Brazilian, so the pronunciation is more dry in the consonants. I don't know how you make a dry N. That doesn't make sense to me. That's not a thing in English. That's a very peculiar thing. Like, you could try to glottal stop it. That'd be about it. Like, nothing? Nothing? I don't know. Welcome, Trouble2X, and welcome, Charlotte Michael. How's it going? Or is that Charlotte... Michelle, I don't know. I could never really figure that one out. I'm too dyslexic for that. Hello, first stream. My last name is pronounced without a T, by the way. My last name? You mean your first name, Charlo. Okay. Charlo, that's interesting. I've never heard that before. But welcome to the streams. How am I? Well, I went over that before. I'm just a little smidge bit tired, but I'm pretty good. I've had a problem in my car that I decided to remake where when I would switch it just replaces the car's paint. I know this is caused by bad J-beam, but I wonder if it has happened to you. Sometimes editing things will cause issues. Editing in Blender can and usually is a big thing. If you have a particularly long name in automation and you put something through Blender, a lot of the times it'll stuff things up, and it will always stuff up engine materials. If you're getting that sort of problem, then have a look at my video on the complexities of making an F1 car, and there's a lot of tutorial stuff in there that should be able to help with those particular issues. Otherwise, I don't know. What's my normal stream schedule, Max? This is my normal stream schedule. MG looks like it would be so much fun with an excessive amount of weight reduction without any added power. Yeah, but there's not actually a lot of weight you can take out of an MG. They are already pretty bare bones. In fact, I don't actually know how they weigh so much, but they are pretty light still. I didn't modify anything as well. Oh, then I don't know, Chibi. That sounds like you've got a corrupted exporter. Anyway, let's get on to reviewing the cars that we've got. So we're just gonna give them a bit of a look over to start with. So we have this one. It has a really long kind of backstory about how it was Pininfarina with Ferrari and then left, and then there was some sort of like thing that happened and they got really desperate. They worked with Audi. There was, I believe this is the one, a mistake. Let's have a look. The engine is an inline 5. Yeah, okay. So there was a mistake. They quoted that they got the engine for this car from an Audi 100C1, but the Audi 100C1 only came with a 4-cylinder. From the C2 onwards, those had 5 cylinders. So they made a mistake here, doxing them a little bit for realism there, but just a smidge. Attention to detail. If they hadn't have actually like specifically said what model of Audi, I probably wouldn't have looked it up, and I probably wouldn't have bothered. I wouldn't have looked at the year and seen that they weren't making it at that point, or maybe they were, I don't know. But specifically the model, I looked it up, and it, yeah, it's chasing bracing going into what? Oh, chassis bracing. I don't know if it really needs it. They're pretty good, but I mean, I suppose I could. It's not on my list of priorities right now. One is getting it running, whether petrol, which it probably will be petrol, or electrically. That is number one. And then we'll probably take it out to, I think it's the Bendigo racetrack? Or something like that. Anyway, one of the racetracks that's out east of Adelaide. I love the little lightweight roasters. It is about a ton, which is pretty good. That is very light. And it is, yeah, just a roadster. It's so much fun. I had one a long time ago. It went with the ex-wife in the divorce. Yes, I was married quite young, and I got divorced like 3 years later. It didn't work out. And she ended up taking the car, which was fine because we traded in her previous car, which was starting to die, and luckily we got out of that alive. As in, like, didn't lose any money on that car because it was starting to devalue because of the problems. For the MG. So it was fair that she took it. But I loved it, and she didn't as much. She initially wanted a roadster, like a convertible, and then I think she regretted it after I did the change. What is... Oh, that was actually... Wait, what? That was actually on purpose because I realized that it would be too old for the C2. Okay, then you could have said that they were working with Audi on a concept for a 5-cylinder or something like that. This looks like looks late 80s as heck. It does look pretty late 80s, or maybe mid 80s even. Anyway, so let's have a look at the wheel. I do love the wheels, pretty good. Even though it's got like the overly scratched material glitch, still looks pretty good. On the inside we have, is that a drum brake? Looks like a drum brake. Smells like a drum brake. Hey, bazinga on McPherson's strut. So at least that's realistic. Is that a aluminium? Sorry, not aluminium. Is that a tubular chassis? That seems unlikely. Then we got the 5-cylinder inline single point injection. Is that actually? Is that? Oh, is that carbureted? I could have sworn that you said it was fuel injected, but that is a carburetor on there. That is not a single point fuel injection thing. Crispy Shaman, welcome! Also, welcome Game Boy Terroister, if I haven't said hello to you, both of you. I'm just noticing the extra things. And welcome Flame Z to the stream, how's it going? I used to have a Puma, a really light, made of fiberglass, really scary, to go fast Brazilian roadster. It's a Beetle Power. Oh, okay. So it was rear engine. Yeah, that would be scary. Yeah, I don't know about drum brakes on the front, but I think this was kind of like a saving grace for the car because it was like otherwise not going to happen. So I can kind of understand that. At least you didn't make it all-wheel drive, because that would have been way too much. Then on the interior, kind of half basic, kind of half design, so I like it. We'll see whether those gauges work. They look like they might, but we'll have a look. Then fully done roof, fully done pillars. Looks like it's meant to have a seatbelt there, but I'm not sure what happened. Maybe place it three-dimensionally next time. Pretty decent work. I could see here... No, I thought that was actually elaborated on for a tunnel. They've got a fairly fancy sort of back seat. Anything in the boot, not by the looks of it. Ah, well, bad luck. On the back here, I mean, I'm not going to dox you any points for not putting things in the boot. I just like little tidbits of information sometimes. That is pretty cool. I like that. I feel that this wouldn't be blocky on the side, but I suppose it looks fine. I like it. Apparently 29 minutes late. Welcome, Ryuko. How's it going? I'm gonna have to stop saying hello to everybody because there's way too many people coming in. Hello to everyone. Make sure to... Oh yeah. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Hold on. Make sure to up that thumb if you like Philman's presentation and excessive sidetracking. Do I really sidetrack that much? Oh dear. Steering wheel looking nice though. Oh, looking real. Let's tab over to it. Do we have steering? No. It doesn't look like the gauges work. Now, whatever. Unfortunate. I mean, it just means that if you're going for point score, you won't get the JBeam points. But that's absolutely fine, because it is quite a complicated mod to do. It does look a little bit like a Subaru. Oh, you're saying that it had the all-wheel drive in 1972. Sure, whatever. But on a car that's like a swan song for a car because they're like failing, you probably wouldn't invest a lot of money in an all-wheel drive system to start off with at least. You may also, James, go and aid us as a fellow Discord number. Yeah. How many cards have I covered so far? 1. It's 34 minutes. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I see your point. Nope, you sidetracked because there is interesting topic going on. By the way, the interior looks hell like a Subaru. It does look a lot like there is a lot of Subaru to it. If there was a body line that went down along here, there is actually. Hold on. I was looking at that going, is that a body line? Oh no, there isn't. Okay, that was reflections. Yeah, then totes my goats, that would be straight up the Subaru. I can't remember what the name of it is, but yeah. Welcome, White Hat Box Plays. How's it going? Thought it was a Renault body? Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, next one is we have this. Oh, wait, hold on. I didn't actually look at the rear on this. If it's meant to be oh. So that's wait, hold on. There's no driveline back here. But it's also, semi-trailing arm. Why is there... There's no drive to the front or rear. What's happening to the gearbox here? Oh, it is front-wheel drive. And it's not rear-wheel drive. Okay. It's a longitudinal front-wheel drive. That is interesting. That I like. Kind of, Saab-esque sort of thing. Okay. I just didn't see that at all. And then it's got like shitty automation, shitty sort of driveline out sort of weird thing. Hey, feel a bit late today. Sadly, I had adult today. Had to adult today. Welcome, Ume. We have a car that is totally by you. Subaru. Please what? I'm confuzzled. So many new people here today. Yeah, there is quite a lot of new people chatting in away today. I did 100 uses longitudinal front-wheel drive. Okay. I didn't know that. Well, I mean, I call it Saab-esque because, being a big Volvo fan that I am, Sweden's kind of like the country car, country sharing car? Adjacent car? I don't know. But they also have, like, a 2.3 liter slant 4-cylinder, double overhead cam sort of thing that was seemingly quite identical to the Volvo engine. I don't know why they both happen to have a very similar engine. Maybe there was some sort of regulation by the government. But yeah, so I learned a little bit about that, and I happened to also realize at the time, going through records as a younger person, just enjoying cars as they are, I noticed that they had a similar sort of thing, but in front-wheel drive. Is it just me or Sweden cars are just tanks on 4 wheels? I don't know about that. I know that Saabs are, Actually, I don't know much about Saab at all. Let's end that conversation there before I say something I probably will do and upset people. So, oh dear, okay. Let's go ahead. And yeah, okay, so this one does have suspension that articulates. It looks really dodgy and shitty, but it still works. And I see also that the wheels are offset, which is a bit weird. Let's go Control-T on this. Yeah, I think they moved the wheels in J-Beam editing as well. But yeah, so in here we got a big V8 quad cam, twin turbo sort of thing. It is all-wheel drive, good. Okay, so it's set for off-road. Got very small brakes, which is, I don't know, not that uncommon for off-road cars, because you don't need particularly big brakes. You just need to be able to put a lot of pressure onto the brakes to lock it up, basically. Like, if you're going for a race vehicle, you probably would want bigger brakes. I'm assuming there's probably some sort of advantage to it. But one, you're not going to be braking a huge amount in an off-road car. And two, your brake temperatures are going to be much lower because you're not going to be braking at like full force because the dirt doesn't have as much traction, meaning that it's either going to be giving less, a lot less braking force, and you're going to be staying on grip, or you're just locking up. And locking up doesn't increase your brake temperatures much. No, not at all, really. So, Phil, how hard would it be to swap a BeamNG into one of my automation cars? You mean a BeamNG engine? it's not that straightforward. So, for starters, the fuel tank and transmission are inside the engine file. And that's not how it is in most, if any, default cars. There's a few other little things as well that would also make it quite difficult. There might also be conflicts of interest with the fact that there's engine and transmission nodes set in the main J-beam of the car and not in the engine J-beam of the car. Welcome, Thomas! Finally made it. I like buggies like these. Don't usually have all-wheel drive, but I might be wrong. Oh, I feel like buggies like this don't have all-wheel drive. It's a bigger one. It's not a small one. A bigger one would probably have all-wheel drive. Smaller ones, cheaper ones, not so much. But this is a big V8 twin-turbo. I'm also surprised that the engine is not in the back sort of area. Saabs were made with intention to be the safest cars on the road, not entirely true. And first Saabs were only available green as Swedish Army bought wrong shades of paint, and Saabs bought it from them, so tank fits. Okay, fair enough. Welcome, Ethan. Hello from New Zealand? Well, hello to you in New Zealand. Saab has a really cool history. Such a sad end to it. Yeah, but I also don't care much for Saab. Saab have always seemed like they don't know what they're doing sort of thing. Wonder if it's possible to swap a 4.2 engine into a 4.1 car. Yes, I made a 4,000 horsepower, a 5,000 horsepower engine to swap into the Hyperblat. Sure, okay. Welcome, Zdex 007. How's it going? Anyway, a lot of cool detail in there. That's very reflective. Huh. I feel that maybe shouldn't be so reflective. Anyway, let's have a look inside here. We got ourselves... That's a little basic, but I mean, there's no shifter, there's no handbrake or anything like that, but it functions, so I'm happy enough with it. I also noticed that the intercooler here, there is no radiator. The intercooler is behind a big barge board sort of thing, so you're not going to be getting a lot of cooling out of that. And then I'm assuming there's meant to be like a mini radiator up there. I don't know. Whatever. Let's move along to the next car. I think where buggies have all-wheel drive or not depend on what the builder intentions are and if they're trying to fit a certain regulation. Sure. Welcome, Terrain Geek. How's it going? Saab Gripe and Go Burr. Okay. Oh, Grip and Go Burr. Feet resting on engine. It's gonna be... Yeah, I'm assuming that was just a clipping issue, but that's fine. Then we have this cool looking car. I like the detail around here. That's doing pretty well. I could see a line there that I don't like, but I think that's just a limitation of automation more than anything else. The headlights, there seems to be some sort of weird thing happening there as well, but you don't see it from all angles? So maybe that's just a limitation of automation as well. One thing I did like is kind of just the lines on the hood look pretty good. I do like it a lot. Then on the inside, we have ourselves an inline 5. Inline 5s have become really popular recently, and I'm not entirely sure why. But okay, we have 3 piston brakes on the front, double wishbone. So a more upmarkety sort of performance car, because it's going to be costing a lot more. So also a 2-door. Is it a 5-seater? Yes. But that is not what I would call legroom. I mean, I'm sure even the Porsches that have poor legroom have more legroom than that. Let's have a look. Yep, okay. So the steering wheel is kind of around where your knees are. So the seats, front seats should be a little bit further forwards. And I feel that with some finagling, you probably could have had the... No, that is literally the wheel well coming into the seat already. So they know that they have this issue. I think... Yeah, no, that is really close. Maybe there's not much there, but you'd have to move the front seats forwards at the very least. And that will fit as well. Interesting dash, there's one dial. And for a sports car, for it to just be speed? Peculiar choice. Okay, I'm assuming the rest of it is maybe meant to be digital, I'm not sure. Big screen there, though. But kind of runs over BMW. It does look a little bit BMW-esque, I will agree. Legit in room? What's not legit? What? What are we talking about? My room? What? I'm looking in the monitor. There's nothing weird showing up there. It's all normal. All my games, web stuff, and cameras. You could see my sim racing seat. That's about it. Oh, Legend room. My brain is not working. I just had to look at it again because I wasn't understanding. My brain don't work. Inline 5s are odd, sound great, and are associated with cool cars. Yeah, like the Volvo 850. And a lot of other ones after that. But even still, like, there's maybe a little too many of them coming out in automation builds. R32, R34 Skyline GTR has back seats that's also particularly useless. I've been in the back of an R33. It wasn't that bad. Let's just have a look at the R33 back seat. I mean, I think that's an aftermarket seat, but that's actually quite survivable. Because the seat itself is pretty long. Yeah, I feel also those seats could go a bit further forwards. But yeah, to R34 you said? Is this the same pictures? I think that's still survivable. Especially if you got kids in the back, which, as an R34, probably you're not having kids in the back. Probably you're having your mates in the back. That looks a lot better there. That actually looks very survivable. It's cramped, yes, but unlike this car, where you cannot fit in the back there. Hey Phil, do you only stream on YouTube? I will sometimes stream on my Twitch, but rarely, as kind of like if I want to play a game. There is actually a game I'm going to be playing soon over on Twitch. It's not related to cars or anything, so don't get your hopes up about that. It's just a more casual sort of place. I don't want to put in much effort for that one. There's no webcam. I'm just sitting down, chilling out. The last time I did a stream on there was about a month ago or something like that. I did a video editing stream. So then people could see my process for editing, pick up some editing theory and stuff like that. Made a 3.4 liter inline 5 in 4.2, making 1300 horsepower. Jesus! Anyway, I do like this side badging. There is like some nice detail on here as well. I like it. I like that they also went for the fake vent here, kind of just that's more bodyline than vent. Pretty decent. The back end, a little bit basic, but they've done some nice work that I'm appreciative. I also like the fact that they went for the split rear diffuser coming out in the housing sort of area. That is something I've seen a lot more recently, and I've been thinking about doing it myself as making a mod fixture for it for hypercars, but there you've done it as well, and I think that looks rather nice. I do like that. I also do like the understated rear wing you've got on there. So, pretty good work there. I like it. Let's have a look at the engine. On the topic of the Skylines, I remember there was a Chevy that sort of resembled the R33 Saloon. Weird. Ah, yes, I was there for a moment, I think. What? Anyway, yeah, inline 5, no front drive by the looks of it, 3-piston, double wishbone. Going into the back into multi-link. Okay. European, Japanese sort of choices here. Single piston rear brakes. it's a big disparity, but I suppose if it works, then that's up to you. It still does behoove you to balance your brakes correctly. And I mean, even on front engine cars, you probably don't want, I'm starting to learn, quite so much front brake pressure compared to your rear. Even with ABS, sorry about that. If you're trying to like brake into a corner, if you have too much front brake force, you will start to wash wide on that. It'll just cause you to understeer. And I'm thinking I'm going to learn a little bit more about that, and then I'm going to make a video on specifically brake tuning. So we now know that just like go berserk on the brakes, it's relatively fine. Now I'm going to get into the nuance of brake work. And I might bring Cesare back in for that help as well, since he knew it much more intuitively than what I did. Anyway, moving on to the next one. This one is kind of cool. I do like the look of this. It is quite reminiscent of the Ferrari 308 sort of era. You reckon this is an i5? I think this might be a Brazilian supercar sort of thing made, and they put a fairly advanced 4-cylinder into there. Let's have a look on the inside. That is actually a really cool detail on the front bumper area. That's quite nice. I would have loved to have seen this in like a crash bumper plastic though. That would have looked pretty good. And like have it in... So what I have done sometimes, and I'm not sure if it really shows up well on camera, is if I want to have the American style crash bumper, is I'll put a grill that's exactly the same shape as the bumper, and then I'll put the bumper inside of it. So then there's like the hole cut out perfectly for the bumper to sit inside of. Whether I turn the mesh inside the grill on or off, like that depends on how it all fits together, and then have the plastic bumper. And I really, really like that look. Give it a try sometime. It is quite fun to do, and you're like, it's a nice little bit of extra detail, and yeah. Also, I'm going to set a little bit of a challenge for next week if people want to try to fit within said challenge to build a car. You know what, actually, I'll start telling you now what the challenge is. I want to see people do the best they can with 200 horsepower dead on. Like, try to get it within a horsepower or two. Whether you're making a normal family saloon, a big, huge luxury car that struggles to move under its weight, I probably don't do that, or a light little sports car, or an incredibly lightweight sort of race go-karty sort of thing. So yeah, that's something I would like to see. 200 horsepower. You don't have to stick to that. If you don't want to stick to the challenge, you can do whatever you want. That's fine. It's just I would like to see what people do with a 200 horsepower limit. Or, I wouldn't say limit, I'd say number. Because I don't want you going less than 200. I want it to be on 200. But if you feel that you want to have less, then that's up to you and you do what you want. Ah, this is your Brazilian shitbox. Okay. I rather like the story of this. Made to be a mirror? I'm not sure. Crownless is like it's on? Okay. Sounds like an easy challenge for making a knock-off Elise. They had considerably less than 200 horsepower. The engine that's in mine that was using the other one, I think... Well, the engine in my exact one is actually 120 horsepower. So a lot less than 200 horsepower. That's... 80%? Something? No. Yeah, about 80% less, I think. Or maybe it's 90%, I'm not sure. My brain don't work so good. Any engine capacity of... or fuel type... or any type of limitation? No. I just want to see what people do with 200 horsepower. If you're set this sort of number, like, are you going to create something like this? Is it going to be like, we tried to make a supercar, but we couldn't really afford a big engine, so we just took an engine from another car. It has 200 horsepower or something like that. Kind of like, oh, you know what you could do? You could do the big 9-liter V8 American fuel crisis car. But this like so limited for fuel that you've gone with Like, you've been limited to 200 horsepower out of, like, all the restrictions that you're putting on yourself to be able to get sales still. Like, something like that, I think, would be interesting and fun. You could also go, like, low power, high torque. It could be a diesel vehicle. It's entirely up to you. I want you to have fun with it. Don't just go ahead and make, oh, car, 200 horsepower, let's make it light. Put a little bit more effort into just imagining things. Like Soviet supercar? Sure, okay. Maybe let's lay off on the Russians for the time being, because I don't think they deserve any attention right now with how impetuous they're being. 200 horsepower still a lot? Yeah, it is, but it's not a lot. It's either like a fairly powerful small sports car, or it's a low-powered, medium-sized family car usually. Maybe an SUV that's really cheap. But yeah, 200 horsepower I think is just an interesting number. It'll probably end up as hot hatch or something like that. I would love to see everyone submit hot hatches. That would be so much fun. Anyway, let's go in. We have... Is that glued aluminium? I thought for a car like this, maybe this would be tubular, but I don't know. We have double wishbone, single piston brake, interesting sort of thing. Then the engine is not in the front. Is it in the rear or mid? Okay, so it's mid as transverse. Now, they said that they specifically made the engine themselves. They knew that it was going to be a higher outlay of cost, but they could do more with it. So what I'm assuming happened here is they were also looking to make regular cars, or maybe sell the engine to other things in there. So it makes sense that they would sell it, make an engine that's in a package that can be used in a lot of different forms, form factors for the body. They also said it was fuel injected. I think this is a little too early for electronic fuel injection, especially if they're worried on the outlay of cost, because the R&D that would have taken to go into electronic fuel injection back in the day would have been way too damn high. They probably would have done mechanical at most, but it probably still would have been carbureted for a 70s car. In my opinion, 200 horsepower is perfect for a casual track day car. I agree. Keep it fun without excessive cost. Yes. Anyway, yeah, I don't agree with the choice of fuel injection for this particular engine. I do like the engine choice though you got there. You've gone with like a fairly standardized type intake. You've gone for a cast manifold there. Lots of cost-saving efforts here. Also, an overhead cam, not some sort of like double overhead cam, all that sort of stuff. Being like that in-between sort of period, at least you've thought about it a little bit and you've gone for the single-point injection. But single-point injection was never developed new, completely from the scratch up, I don't believe, by any car manufacturers. I could be wrong on that. I believe what it was is they already had the manifolds and they were developing the individual injectors. So the single point was just to go in where the carburetor was. I don't think it was ever developed new like this, so yeah, I don't entirely agree with that choice. All these ideas filling your head? Okay. So what I got from a lot of people was like, they're running out of ideas. So I'm thinking now we'll give a little bit of a theme to the next week. Is it a requirement? No, not at all. You could still like build a car and you're like, wow, I built this really nice car. I want to submit this. But I think if people want to have like art through adversity style, like helping them come up with ideas, I think I'll start coming up with some ideas. It'll also help me stream the next week if I ever make themes for like, if I ever say a specific type of say SUV, then like it could be the SUV stream or something like that with other smatterings of cars. It'll help me with the titles, because titles currently are like, there's too broad of a selection of cars, and I hate the fact that my titles are always just like 10 cars. There's no, like, descriptive thing in it, and I hate it. Anyway, so let's have a look more at the suspension in the rear. We have single piston disc brake. Sure, okay. Double wishbone, fairly standardized. Anyway, the car itself looks pretty nice. I do like the little lip here. The Jacare. Let's have a quick look. Here it is. 1983. Yeah, that would have been pre-fuel injection requirements, but it would have been that around that sort of period where mechanical fuel injection was coming to an end. But only because electronic was starting to come in, but most people didn't adopt electronic. Most people didn't adopt mechanical fuel injection at all. But yeah, electronic fuel injection by about 1986 sort of period, when there was a big tonal shift in the world of leaded fuels and E85 and stuff like that. And that one was mostly brought in by Australia, kind of like, and the rest of the countries kind of went, sure, okay, maybe it's time for us to actually spend money on this. Group 5 Renault 5, 200 horsepower? I don't know about that. You'd be accidentally trying to skip the video because I'm used to it. Oh, Ethan, that's funny. Anyway, I'll take that as a hint as you want me to move it along a bit. I do like this car. There is a lot of detail on there. Let's have a look at the interior quickly. I love the red accent and the fact that you've themed it quite nicely. And that little bit of like metal down there, that's quite nice. That's good attention to detail. Love it. Dash is kind of weird looking, and I see also that you didn't change the colors. So it's all come out black and white, which is unfortunate. You've got a full interior though. Have you got 2 radios? Yeah. You've got 2 radios here, but no cooling. Usually one of those is cooling and the other one is radio. Like, at least have a fan. You've got vents here. You've got to have some sort of dial for your fan. What the hell? Anyway, also, this was meant to be a very cheap car. So having a radio, I'm not sure about. But 2, having a tape deck. That probably would have been a luxury for the price in which this is going for. So I'm not entirely sold on that. I like that you've filled in the back here and everything. That's really nice. Oh, I see what you've done. You've done the louvers on top. Nice. Nice detail. Let's... sorry, burp there. Onto this bad boy. You've got 3 aerials on that, which I'm assuming you are meant to be... Frick, what are they called? Vortex generators. Though I don't know if a vortex generator is going to be... Whoa, hey, that wasn't meant to happen. Accidentally pressed F. I don't know if vortex generators work so much on a hatchback. Even if that's meant to be a wagon or whatever, you get the idea. I don't think vortex generators do that. What vortex generators do is, I believe, I'm not entirely sure, help attach the flow of air onto the car body, which will then help it go down the rear of the car and then reach the spoiler. Here, I think that's only going to generate lift for you. So I think that's actually a bad idea to have vortex generators on a hatchback like this. I actually did change the dashboard colors, but I changed the color that still came out white. Oh dear. I changed it to custom colors that you set yourself. Or tune yourself, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that. The dash glows in automation. Oh, nice. I know that you don't really like French cars. No. I don't like French cars in real life. But I like their passion. I don't like their design, and I wouldn't own one. But I like their passion. I think their design is interesting. And in automation, I think they are fantastic cars because they're so quirky, and it breaks the monotony of supercar, SUV off-roader, family car. It breaks it up a lot. So don't say that I don't like French cars per se. I think a lot of them have their cool quirks. Just personally, I wouldn't own one, whether that's damning or not. And I don't think that they look particularly appealing. But that doesn't mean that they're not interesting. I know that you don't really like French cars. I don't know why though. But what would you think about a small mid-engine hot hatch like the Peugeot 205 T16? Was there a mid-engine 205? I almost bought a 205 as well. I will say that that is one of the few that I like the look of. Oh, the rally car. Okay. Sure. I feel that it would have more than 200 horsepower, or maybe the homologation road special would maybe be detuned, so then the engines would be a little bit more reliable, maybe? So, I mean, I could see that. It's up to you. You still have to make like a car that people are going to want to buy, though, if you're going for a realism score. French cars are a lot of good ideas poorly executed. Vortex generators force rotation of air and help with air separation. I don't think that's correct. On Evo, they separate the air from the rear window to force it onto the wing. In this car, they would probably decrease drag but cause lift. I don't think that they actually cause it to separate. I'd have to look that up. But, Evo Vortex generator. Maybe it does? Maybe you're right. Maybe my brain is all stuffed up. But I don't think I've ever seen vortex generators on a hatchback before. So, I mean, if it does cause separation, then no, you wouldn't get lift. You'd actually get less lift. You'd get a lot more drag, though. Because causing separation does cause a lot of drag. The T16 was the best Group B car? I don't know. I do love the Ford RS200 a lot. Even if it was the deadly one that, like, really did cause the end of Group B. Like, the final nail on the coffin, I should say. Rear end looks a bit like a Skoda on this car. I think I can see that, yeah. Looks like a Maserati from the front. I didn't see much of it, but yeah. Yeah, I see that with a big front grille. Kind of semi-divided there. I get that. It also looks a little bit like that fish car. Whatever, that, like, American hybrid thing. You don't know what I was doing with those vortex generators. Fair enough, Crispy Shaman. They look great in the Evo, though. On the Evo, yeah. I do love Evos. I grew up loving them. I wish I could have afforded one. But now that they're no longer in production, I will just never be able to buy one. So let's go Gumtree quickly. I know this is going to come up with just so much shit. It's going to be so much spam. So let's go ahead, select Mitsubishi, go down to offer type, offering, sort by cheapest. Alright, most of these are not going to be actual Evos on the cheaper end. $4,000 for a smashed one, not an Evo, kind of an Evo. That's actually pretty cool. That's not an Evo, that's not an Evo, not an Evo, not an Evo, not an Evo. That's not an Evo. Once again, the VR4 Glant is technically not an Evo. Is that actually an Evo? $10,000. It's one of the uglier ones, but yeah. So, these are kind of cool cars. I would consider one of these, potentially. If they weren't so, like, big. Anyway, then this one. Is that actually an Evo? It doesn't look like an Evo. It looks like a dodgy, mocked-up Evo. Maybe it is. But it also looks super dodge. I think this was an adapted car, not actually an Evo. So let's keep going until we see a real Evo. There we go. So we got one of the new Evos. $16,000. That's actually a pretty cheap price. Oh no, that's a Rally Art, not an Evo. Is there a difference between Rally Art and Evos? Show me a picture of the badge, please. Yeah, I don't see Evo written on there. 2002 Evo 7. I don't agree with the spray paint on the bonnet. That's pretty shite. That's a real evolution. But the price is $25,000. So yeah, as I was saying, not within my price range and probably never will be. And if you have time, I would suggest reading Gillian Edgar's book on modifying aerodynamics. I'm dyslexic, so I don't like to read. It is actually a chore for me. Rather have the Subaru Forester. I watch a guy on YouTube. Kyle Engineers, that's what his name is. And this is where I learned about vortex generators. Really cool guy. Yeah, so how do vortex generators work? I watched that one, but it's been quite a long. I mean, I may have watched it 7 years ago. Who knows? But yeah, I'll have to watch that again. Vortex generators in 30 seconds. All right. Let's have a quick look at that. I'll probably get copyright claimed or whatever, but whatever. Let's hope he doesn't. Hopefully this music isn't copyright either.
Free stream air with the low energy boundary layer that is near stationary on the surface. By increasing the energy of the boundary layer, they enable it to have enough momentum to pass through the regions of adverse pressure without separating. Don't know what adverse pressure is? Check my other video.
It stops separation.
I
thought so.
Normally wouldn't, and wings to go beyond their normal point of store. Vortex generators.
Yeah, so I was right. Okay, good. So, this would keep the flow attached to the back of the car, which would cause lift. I thought I was losing my mind. Mitsubishi Megans are surprisingly very cheap. Saw loads of cheap ones for sale on car sales. Sure. The 205 was lower weight class than the RS200. They wouldn't have competed directly. Sure, but he said best Group B. And they are both in Group B, even if they're in different categories. Car Engineers or Chain Bear both have good video on aero. Welcome, Onion Man. Hi. Why the thumbnail car look like a sad son of Nissan Z31? And it actually, to me, looks a lot like, and it's this car over here, looks like the Aston Martin Lagonda? Is that what I'm thinking of? Oh, screw off. Is that still open? Yeah, Epic Game Store is still open. I was making mod stuff for future videos. Aston Martin Lagonda. Yeah. To me, it reminds me of the Aston Martin Lagonda. That's not a good picture. Yeah. That's a station wagon version, though. But you get the idea. Because I'm pretty sure that that is the Aston Martin Lagonda type body. Very heavily influenced, but yeah. Vortex generators would probably increase downforce on an Evo because there is a wing behind it. So what it would do on an Evo is cause the... Because downforce isn't generated by hitting the top of a wing. There's a little bit, but that's mostly drag inducing. What it is actually the air underneath, which is... If you do the air test on the piece of paper, this paper is unfortunately curled up now. So that's going to affect it a little bit. But here's the strip of paper. You've all done this test, right? Yeah. So with like a moderate amount of breath, I'm able to lift it all the way up, pretty much the entire way down. If I do it on the bottom side now, it's not lifting up nearly as much. And that shows you that hitting the aerofoil or the aero device does not actually generate much of an effect. But the speed of air causing basically suction underneath does much more to affect the aero device. So the air going under the wing is what causes downforce on a car, and inverse for aeroplanes. That too, there was a Lotus that had similar front geometry. Oh, interesting. I don't recall that. Aston Martin La Bomba? What? Or are you just memeing? Oops. Nope, doesn't exist. Have you guys seen the Aston Martin Bulldog? I think it was what it was called. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. This thing would have been so epic if they had released it. Oh, my God. This thing is so cool, by the way. If you don't know the Aston Martin Bulldog, look it up. It's rather fetching, in my opinion. Like, look at that cutaway that the door creates on the inside there. You wouldn't get that today. That would be incredibly unsafe, but oh man. This thing is so cool. I love it. Bulldog just crazy. That's peak quirky, yeah. Pop down headlights? Is that what? Oh, yeah, right. The Bulldog is great. I love this side profile shot of it. This is an image I've seen before. It just looks so cool. I love everything about it. Aston Martin Lagonda looking car, better named Aston Martin Lagon. Okay. Bulldog was supposed to be the fastest car in the world at the time. Yes. Don't remember what engine it had though. Yeah, neither do I. I don't know much about it. Okay, so let's go in and let's have a look at this car. We've been hanging on this one for quite a while now. We've got ourselves a V6, so the badging is correct. Twin turbo. Sure, fair enough. Quad cam. Two piston, front brakes, double wishbone, front drive. Looks like we've also got all-wheel drive. Okay, so we have all-wheel drive. This is competing with multi-link single piston rear brakes. With a lot of European sort of cars, and I'm guessing, or maybe Japanese, but probably by the look and the stance of it, I would say more of a European sort of thing, maybe competing. You know what? Actually, is that an SUV? Yeah, actually, that's an SUV. Pretty sure. Like a small SUV, yeah. But an SUV nonetheless. Because it is... It's kind of like the Subaru Forester and stuff like that. Where it is technically an SUV, but it's so small it's like a normal car. I'm not going to look up whatever that is, Shivi. That's too complicated. Absolutely love the Bulldog. The late 70s, early 80s were a great time for car design. There was a lot of cool stuff, yeah. Do you watch Donut Media? I used to, and then I just kind of lost interest in them when they started making a lot of errors and just things that I didn't entirely agree with. So I stopped watching them. They've driven Bulldog on ice race, absolutely badass decision. I don't know what that is. Anyway, Lotus Esprit Turbo was the Lotus I was... Oh! You think the body looks like a Lotus Esprit? I don't know about that. Lotus Esprit looks a lot better in my opinion. Like a lot better, and also a lot different. The front end, yeah right, maybe a little bit. Welcome, Gromin. How's it going? It's rather Outback than Forester. Sure, okay. I don't know, I forget all of the Subaru names. Subarus are very common here. They just all meld together in my head. Well, it's actually a wagon, but it has a high ground clearance like a crossover. Yeah, I think you might get away with calling this a crossover, especially with the roof racks, which are not common on normal cars anymore. It looks like a Bentley Bentayga from the side. I don't see it. Anyway, let's have a look at the interior. We have a fully lined boot. Plush, quilted sort of leather sort of design. A lot of polygons in there. A lot of polygons. Then actually decent back room size. Lots of front room size. Seat seems to be around the right sort of position. Feel as if the steering wheel might be a little bit low, but done pretty darn well. Automatic. decent. I love that you've put the badge on the actual steering wheel. That's pretty good. I've done that a few times. Mainly the latest one, sorry, would have been the Lotus one, not the current one, but the one before that, the Lotus 49B. Also, can I say, why was there such a big jump between the Lotus 49 and the Lotus 72? Like 30 iterations just gone? What happened there? I know that they were doing four-wheel drive stuff, but still. I would have loved to have seen a race as well. What do I think about the Ford GT90? Oh my god, I grew up with that car on like a... I think it was Need for Speed Underground 2, I think is where that car was. Fantastic. I would have loved that car. Saints row badge? Oh, it is too. If it was purple, yeah. The Quattro was famous because it was the first all-wheel drive rally car and it used an i5, but nobody gives attention to the 205 because of the Delta S4 Group B. I think a lot of people do know about the 205. But it also didn't stand out a lot. Regular Need for Speed 2? Oh, I don't think I had Need for Speed 2. Maybe it was a different game then. Feel like the steering wheel should come further out. A little bit. Maybe the whole dash should come out a little bit. But at least the seats are in the right place. Or are the seats a bit far forward? No, they're about right. At least console looks natural, not like the Tesla iPad. Yeah, stamped into the console. I do agree that the Tesla seems a little bit weird. I don't know if I entirely agree with the design, but I think it looks nice enough. On the interior, that is. I loved the Ital design color. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look that up. I do not much remember about these games, by the way. My brain is very much gone on that. You know what? That does look kind of familiar. Huh. I think I may have seen this car, but my brain is not really putting it together. Can we see it from the rear, please? Yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me a little bit. But my brain isn't... I'm not cottoning on to it. I don't recognize it that well. Anyway. Let's move on to the next car. Looks like plastic seats because... KF all? What? This is old automation exporty glitch, so I don't mark them down for that. But I would give them extra points in JBeam if I knew that they'd fix that. Lada Samara wacky Group E car. Alright, let's have a look at the Lada Samara. Oops. Oh. Oh, that is ugly. That is a weird design. And quite ugly. It's got two wings on the back. What? Why? Can we get a picture of the rear? There we go. What? Once again, why? Weird choices. I feel that this wing wouldn't be generating any downforce at all. Like, if it is, very little. And at most, it's just negatively affecting the top wing. Weird choices have been made there. Anyway. All Russians are known for wacky designs. Two wings because Russia. It was ugly, but at least it was slow and unreliable. I'm back. Had to clean the bathroom. Oh dear. It has 200 from regulars. I don't know. Anyway, this is a cool looking car. Let's go. These look like headlights that are designed to pop up and out. That's pretty cool. I like that. So it's not like a pop-up. They put in a lot of effort there to make it look like the sort of lights that pop up that way. I appreciate your effort there. I also like the fact that they went ahead and tried to do a dual color bumper there. Pretty good. Like it. It's a bit weird though to be square on a not entirely square body. Feel like there's something you could have done there. But still, I like it. Sides got all of this extra ribbing detail sort of stuff on it. Love it. The back end, you've got that same sort of design quirk. I think looks pretty good. I mean, I don't know whether car companies would have done that, but I think that's like a cool design thing. They're like, hey, let's just do something weird. I like it a lot. That is a very clean rear end. Well done. Group S, not groupie? Okay, fair enough. Try turning the lights on. I will try that when I'm testing it out. But let's go in and have a look. So it is not mid-engine, it is front. Got double wishbone, single piston, suspension in the rear, and then in the front we have double wishbone, 2-piston brakes, big looking V8, 60-degree V8. Okay, interesting. Don't know why. It's not as if there's a lack of room in here, but sure, okay. Cast loggia manifold. I feel as if on like a luxury car that this looks like, or like a luxury sport, they might have actually had a tubular exhaust. As for the intakes, we've got some... I'm pretty sure what you've done here is selected race, right? And on the old exporter of automation, sometimes it just won't export the trumpets. So that I would disagree with on a car like this. I feel as if like it was to generate less power, then it would just generate less power. I also love the fact that you've done the thing which I've pointed out a few times, is the little bit of a wing lip here for some reason they've done on a few cars, and most recently I saw it strangely on the Lotus 72. But yeah, the little wing lip that they would put on there sometimes. I love the inverted dent here. It's just nice design. Well done. Hold on. Is that mirror a little too low? I think that mirror might be a bit too low. Interior. Look at that. You guys get an eyeful of that whilst I go to the next page of music. That's bigger than I expected? What is? If they don't pop out, they're useless. I mean, sure, that's a lot of J-beam editing to do. Looks weird, but oh, it does look very 80s. Yeah, very much a product of its time. I like to call those flip-up headlights. Fair enough, okay. Only other car I can think with it... the Porsche. Yeah, I'm thinking... I think there was other ones, but I think the Porsche is the only one that I can think of right now. Isn't the lip to combat some lift? I don't know. I really don't know what it's for. Really... look at all that attention we've got here. Got pillars filled in and everything. Got a proper roof liner. Is it a... no sunroof? Good. So they haven't made that mistake. Like, things back here for AC. Flip down tray boards, I'm assuming. That's attention to detail. Is that a scoop? Yeah, they've stuck a scoop on there for, like, rear seat pockets. Mwah! I love it. So much detail here. I'm not sure about... this, though? I mean, it works. But I'm getting really nitpicky now, because I feel as if I'm challenged to find what's wrong with this car. Because it is so good in here. This is a whole lot of fun. Let's tab over to this car. That was the wrong button. Hey, we do have a J-beam edited car. So maybe we do actually have... thing. Does the do we have a there's no handbrake. Okay. So maybe it's like a foot brake? I see the foot brake there. Foot brake is not animated for the handbrake. Okay, cool. I like the fact that they've actually got the foot brake in there as well. I saw that. I see what you're doing there. Because I probably would have missed that if I didn't think about, like, seeing if there was an animated handbrake. Because that is actually something I was thinking about doing at some point, but then I decided to not. I love the three-dimensionality to everything that's here. That's pretty good. So, I'm looking forward to this car. 70 Celica had similar headlights? I think that was pop-up, though, wasn't it? Not flip-up? The Miura was the fastest car in the world when it debuted. Really? I didn't know that. Anyway, yeah, this is a pretty cool looking car. Yep, they've placed that individual on its own there, that intercooler. But there is a proper intercooler here. That's funny that automation does that sometimes. Quad cam, V8, twin turbo. So they're going for just lots of power. Single piston, double wishbone, no interior, but sure, okay. A little bit disappointing. Push rod suspension in the rear, single piston brake. So, most of the attention to detail is on the outside of the car. I'm assuming just big and fast. Holden, is it front wheel? Does it have front drive? No, it doesn't have front drive. So it is just rear drive. Good, okay. So at least they've thought about it some. Hopefully this car will handle well. This car also didn't get many votes, so I put it on as like the beginner car. I don't know. Whatever. The Miura was the first supercar. I would tend to agree with that, yes, because I do count a supercar as a mid-engine car. Maybe rear, but mostly mid. They used to call muscle cars supercars, but that was purely based upon power. And I wouldn't have counted them as supercars. Maybe I would have because of the nomenclature at the time, but now I wouldn't. It was so fast, they made a different car class for the Miura, the birth of the supercar class. Kinda, yeah. Twice the cooling, twice the power. Sure, that's how it works. Then we got this very basic, because this one was kind of basic as well in design, I decided to not put in a completely beginner looking car. They have done some J-beam editing on this one though, so I can't really poo-poo it. But the design on this is a little too basic. But at least they've got like a full interior by the looks of it, except for they don't have door cards, they haven't lined anything. Okay, so good detail here. They've gone with like putting in the detail for a seat. Unfortunately though, they probably didn't realize that the lap buckle probably would be in the crux here and not kind of like halfway down your thighs. That would probably be a bit of a problem. Yeah. Basic. No dashboard. I was trying to figure out what looked wrong here. And then my brain just went, oh, okay then, yeah. Same with the front. They've got detail on there, but it's basic. They haven't put in the effort to make the headlights match either. I think that's why I used to consider this one of the, like, deceptively hardest bodies to work on. The NSX body looks so nice until you try to put on where you think the headlights would fit. And usually that would be a pop-up for this sort of car body, because the front rake is so flat. And then you end up with that where nothing body matches. So you do have to do a lot of like custom making things fit. They've gotten with like a lot of lip here on the front and all that sort of stuff to make it look like a race car. Then the side just kind of wraps underneath the body like a 70s car. 70s race car, that is. That I disagree with. Then on the back, a big massive wing, big rear diffuser. But a diffuser works best with a flat underbody as wide as possible. You don't have that here. Definition of sports car, race car for the road. I don't know about that. Is this the four-rotor car? I think I saw them say something about that. Nothing in here. Have they got it in here? I know that the engine sounds are edited. There is no engine. Oh, okay. That's what they've done. Okay. Interesting. Probably not how I would have tried to depict it, but at least they've put some sort of effort in. Yeah. So I think this is the four-rotor car. There was another one as well, but they broke the link and didn't get it to me in time. So they can re-upload it if they want. What are those drug dealer wheels? They do look like drug dealer wheels, but then again, Having these sorts of wheels on race cars back in the day, not that uncommon. Maybe not this exact design, but have a look. There's a lot of really cool wheels. Then this car. I don't know what it is about this car. I just think this car looks good. It just looks good. I like it. As long as it doesn't cost a lot of money. If it doesn't cost a lot of money, then I will be fine with it. I don't actually remember how much it costs. I hope that this thing has like a little MR2-like engine, like, or at most a V6, maybe supercharged, but probably cheaper, maybe turbocharged, but hopefully not. Maybe just something fun. So let's go over and have a look on the. There isn't a number plate though. Let's have a look on the inside. Okay. Sure. We have single piston, big ass F-off brakes on the front, double wishbone, no front drive. Good, so they were keeping the price a little bit lower. Then we've got a rear engine. Okay. Single piston F-off brakes on double wishbone, big heavy V8. Oh, sorry, V6. Non-turbo, so that's good. Also 60 degree. Sure. I would have thought for a rear-mounted engine, you would want to keep the weight as low as possible. If you're not going to go a flat 6, if you wanted 6 cylinders, that is, a 90 degree would have been better because the center of balance is just a little bit lower. The problem with having a higher engine car is, say, like, so you got your car body. That's the front of the car, the back of the car. If you have a taller engine, when you start to accelerate, your taller center of mass is going to remove the weight from the front wheels, which is why usually rear engine cars are flat. So that's why that exists. Cough, $36,000 cough. Oh dear. I mean, $36,000 is a lot of money. I was meaning more along the lines of supercar price, but that's not so bad if that's the price of this car. 4-donut engine. I find it cool that Lamborghini still makes tractors. Yeah, I believe that they split the company up though, kind of like Volvo split their car company up. Rusty chassis be like, ha! I put Michigan plates on. Michigan only requires rear plate. Oh, okay. Usually though, there would be a place for a number plate. Okay, there you go. Interesting. Nice little attention to detail. I do like these rear lights, though. They look rather nice. Good work. I see here that you forgot to put the wing as top layer as well. So it's cut away on the wing a little bit. Or maybe that's intentional. I don't know. Anyway. Let's have a look now at the interior. Unfortunately, yeah, you probably should have done something for the chassis or gotten rid of the chassis and made your own custom one. Basic interior, but I do like it. Looks fairly nice. You've got some sort of color theming going on here. Unfortunately, it doesn't match the outside, but sure, okay. Your steering wheel is a little bit too far back. On a supercar, you're probably gonna have a dashboard that comes out to like here on the door. Unfortunately, yeah, yours is a little too recessed, and that means that you're going to be steering, like, having to reach far forward. Especially on a sports car where you're going to be, like, probably reclined a little bit more. I feel that that's different. And with a rear engine car, you probably could have fitted in, rear seats. I'm also noticing, is that a scoop? Okay, yeah, you got a scoop coming in, and the scoops go to nowhere. Anyway, I get the idea. I get what you were going for there. I like this. Pretty good. Pretty cool. Great. Now, final car to look at is this one. I was actually surprised that this one got such a high vote. It looks nice, but it is very basic. But I suppose people like it. I do like the mirrors. For some reason, just a small amount of carbon fiber, even though jank, looks okay. The rest of it, it's a fairly basic design. Core wheels, brakes are big, 2-piston, double wishbone. No front drive on a 5-cylinder again. We got 3 5-cylinder twin cam turbo engine. Going out to the back. Yeah, just making sure that there's no front drive. Coming down to the rear, we have multi-link again. Single piston. Okay. Interesting. Nothing in the boot. Let's have a look at the rear design. I'm getting Naruto vibes. I don't know why. It's just reminding me of Uzumaki and Naruto. What happened to the chassis? I don't know, man. Phil, they fixed their link of that rotary stand. Unfortunately, it's a last week submission. So when I go to look at submissions, I'm going to immediately go like top of this week. So the car's not going to show up. So they're probably well after this stream. Give it at least a couple hours. If you have to sleep, then go sleep. Then repost it. So then it will be fresh up there. And say that it's a repost to people, so then people can vote for it again. Also, the engine is tall because it's supposed to be a VR6. Okay. I feel maybe then a mid-engine would have been more fitting. Because it is quite tall. I think I remember you saying that as well. I thought I removed the chassis. Oops. Oh, okay. So this is meant to not have a chassis. Ah, there is actually a floor underneath. Okay. Interesting. Maybe a little bit of testing. You would have seen that maybe. I don't know. Other than that, yeah, that seems like an oops on Automation's exporter. Which is unfortunate. Not something you do. So, I'm also going to note that this buckle placement is usually for cars that have seats in the rear. Otherwise, it's usually fitted to a more conventional sort of like pillar or something like that. I also feel that the seats are a bit low. The reason why the seatbelts are like that is so then you can easily like scooch around it to get into the back seats. I really feel that this probably should have come with back seats, considering the fact that there is no engine in the middle. But then again, that's my opinion. Sure. They really shared add a W or VR engine to Automation. I mean, I'd like to see VR added, but there's really only the one. There is the Connaught V10, sure, but there's really only the one VR engine that got widely used. And sure, maybe. I think you can just imagine with a 60 degree. It's fair enough. Considering that most V10s are not 90 degree, but they have a 90 degree V10. Okay. What I would like to see is like V4, which is actually used in multiple different cars. I would also like to see straight 8s, which, I mean, was going out of fashion by that sort of period. One thing I would really like to see is flatheads. But I think the number one priority moving into the future, since this game is taking so long to come out full release, electric needs to be implemented in some way. It really does. Because huge history and is becoming the mainstay of nowadays and into the future. We're in 2022. The game came out in 2012 when there was really only like 2 EV manufacturers, really, and then a few hybrid manufacturers. Electric motors wasn't really a thing back then, but now it is. And that's a fault of theirs not releasing the game and then saying, okay, now we're going to make version 2 of Automation. I think that's what they should have done. What would be your biggest dream car? Here we go. This Volvo 262 with a supercharged AQ171B. That I would love. I love this Volvo 262. I had a Volvo 262. Way too much rust and work to be done to it. It ended up sitting and then got sold by my parents for me. Without my permission. Welcome, Matteo Sacco. How's it going? Also on single and twin pistons for my go-kart. Yeah, sure. Maybe a 2-cylinder they could swing, but you're really getting into quite rarer sort of engines there. Volvo's Roivo, what? The iconic Volvo. Really nice brick. 2-stroke engines would be cool as well. Once again, really rare, especially after 1940s when the game is actually meant to take place. Want to make a Trabant replica? Okay, cool. So, I like this car. Quite excited by it. This one, what do we have in the rear again? It was multi-link. Okay, 5-cylinder. Interior, interesting. It looks very bespoke. I feel like this is the sort of thing that would be in, some sort of luxury European, maybe a Bentley, Rolls Royce sort of thing. Like, very bespoke. It's got the nice, simplistic dash design. It's got a nice looking dial there. Is that a clock or is that a gauge? You know, that's meant to be a clock. It's just clipping, unfortunately. I feel that that's what that is. Though the seats are a little too buckety for that. So maybe BMW. What did I... Oh, there's some weird glitching happening there. Anyway. Back seats with the fold down thing. Nice detail. Alright, I think it's time to start going off. And we're going to start off with this one. It has a really big story. If you want to look up the story for this, it's a nice little read. Nice little short story, about a paragraph long. Go check it out. The Touresque, I believe, is what this car is called. 1977? Let's have a quick look at the name. Oh, really lag. Yep, the Touresque XT Sport. So this is by Elias, who I believe is in the chat right now. 1977, $20,000, and it's a pin and finish collab with Audi. So it's very much European. So we're going to take this to... We're not going to take it to Frankenchops. We're just going to take it to Italy. And... let's take it to Crossroads, because it's probably more of a cruiser sort of car, having a bigger engine. Trabant, though. Trabant is very iconic car. Okay, let's have a look at what the Trabant is. Oh, I vaguely know of this car. Iconic? I don't know about that. Ah, there we go. I think you can get away with not making it 2-stroke. What I'm thinking about is, like, order of priority. 2-stroke in the future, sure. But, like, there's other things that they need to implement first. Tons of Fiat's, BMW 700 Trabants. There were many 2-piston cars. Modern Panda has 2-pot. Really? Okay, I didn't know that. Tons of Legdrum Roo. Only took 1 hour and 45 minutes to get to testing the cars. Oh dear, has it been that long? Okay, let's make it a little bit faster then, since this is like the less popular part. If you are enjoying it though, please go ahead and tap that like button. And if you're not, please go ahead and subscribe maybe. Because we are getting a decent amount of growth right now. It'd be nice to keep going. So, drum brakes all round. Questionable choice, but okay. I can barely hear this. Do I have audio turned down? That's the wrong one. Options, audio. Yep, I turned audio down because I would have been testing whilst watching things or listening to things. Let's go ahead and turn the music down as well. Or maybe, hold on. Yep, okay. Music needs to be just a smidgen bit quieter. There we go. Hopefully you can still hear the music. Oh, that is very quiet now. Okay, maybe I'll turn the music back up. You know, that's about right for music. It's just that this car is very quiet then. Hey, Vince, you've made it! I'm gonna make an MGF competitor? Okay. I mean, the Mazda MX-5 was a competitor, and it was considered to be a better car in pretty much every way. So, I mean, it's got its own competitor. I love the care Filmman puts into anything he makes from his channel. That makes his content really unique and great. Thank you. I will say though, however, you guys put in a lot more time into your cars than I do. That is because I am limited in time. So as I said at the beginning, I really do appreciate the massive scale of effort you guys are putting in. And I do have to say that. I may not say it, I may sound like I'm poo-pooing cars a lot, but I really do appreciate the effort. I just like to nitpick, and I want to see people grow as designers. And I think it is a fun way to look at cars. Otherwise, you're going to be like, I'm at the top of my game, I lose interest. So I like constructive criticism as a personal thing. 4:20 a.m. for you? It's 1:51 a.m. for me. Alright. Very slow on the takeoff. Oh! And a lot of power delivery. Oh, that's right, it's front-wheel drive and going uphill. It would get less power. Traction, sorry. Oh, lots of lock-up on the front. I feel maybe it could do with less front brake force compared to the rear. Or maybe just more rear brake force. Yeah, I think there's unfortunately an imbalance of brakes. The front wheels peel, I love it. God damn it, BeamNG. Yep, fronts lock up way too much. 5:20 a.m. for you. It's midnight, 12 p.m. I'm limited in time, a lot like my first JBeam project. I will probably be a 5,000 horsepower Hyperblat. Probably gonna add a supercharger too. Okay, cool. 2 amazing automation YouTubers in one stream? Is there 2 of me? No, I'm joking. I know what you mean. Turbo kicks in really, really late. Woo. And without turbo, it seems gutless. Yeah, okay, so let's see. Turbo kicks in at about 4,000 RPM, which is actually quite reasonable for the sort of era. The sportier cars, they would kick in a lot later though, so this feels quite on point actually. Like turbos don't don't kick in at low thing. This actually feels rather nice to drive. It's just comfortable. I don't know much about Pininfarina as a brand. I'm gonna refresh that and pretend that didn't happen. I feel those mirrors are a bit futuristic, maybe. This is a cool song. It's reminding me of the Hotel California song. That's what this reminds me of. You gonna go now, Ethan? Okay, Ethan. Catch you later. But yeah, let's have a look. Is there an interior camera? Ah! Let's rewind. Don't move your eyes and drive, people. That was the wrong button to press. Hold on, what was... there we go, see. That's onboard orbit. Nope, okay, there's no interior camera. Do we have... There doesn't seem to be Jamie anything on the inside, so it's fairly basic car. I do like this. Quite smooth, quite soft. Like, it feels like, even though the road is quite bumpy, without having like rock solid suspension, this feels actually like a quite smooth car. Is it sporty? It's like moderate. Welcome to Hotel California. Sorry, I'm off key really bad. How can I send into the car? Read the description. And welcome, Super Mark IV. How's it going? Yo, he said, bye to me. I feel happy now. Okay, then. You say that because, just because it's a basic, clean guitar chord progression. Yeah. I think it's also the organ. Pretty sure organ is in Hotel California. Hotel California. Such a lovely place. This song is appropriate for this era of car. I like it. Let's go ahead and open up the score page. Streaming scores. Okay, so styling. It's very moderate, and we're judging this by today's standards, so if you don't like that, that's unfortunate, but that's how we're going to do it, because it's really hard for me to be accurate when it gets to older cars. I live now, and my memory is bad, so I wouldn't be able to remember things, so we're just going to go by modern standards. Styling is very moderate, doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look great as a sports car. So it's going to get somewhere around a 6. It's not offensive in any kind of way. The acceleration, quite mild. So we're going to go a 5 on that. The handling, it's not any sort of like sports car, so we're going to go with 5. It's not bad and it's not great. A little bit lock-uppy and all that sort of stuff, which is not great. Fun factor, I mean, it's not terrible. It is on the good side of medium. Cool factor, I don't know how cool this is going to be. It's going to be known as like a parts bin special, sort of like quickly get it out of the door sort of thing. I don't know if it's going to be particularly sought after by car enthusiasts, especially at a price of what was $20,000. Maybe there was some modding scene to it, but there's not much of a modding scene for Audi, so I don't think so. The cool factor is probably going to be a little bit lower. It's going to be like a 4. It's going to be known about by some people, but not by a lot. It's kind of like old Saabs. They're not particularly cool, but when you see one, you're kind of like, oh, yeah, cool. But like, nobody's gone, oh, cool, a Saab. Doesn't really happen. Like, Saab fandom, sure, but that's also very small. Trackability is going to be quite low because of the lockups. So, weekend category, 29. Not the worst. Race cars around 3,000 to 4,000, 30,000 to 40. What? I'm confused. Usually my turbo starts spalling at around 2,000 RPM for a normal car. On a modern car, a 2,000 RPM spalling turbo is still actually a very good, like, you'd have to have variable geometry or like a twin scroll turbocharger or something like that. 2,000 RPM is quite low for a turbo to come in. Unless you're going like a very economy-based luxury or smooth power delivery sort of thing where the turbos aren't giving much. Features. Does it at least have a radio? Okay, it has a radio, but they're not even a tape deck. So the feature set on this is going to be quite low. It's also manual, so that's going to hurt it a little bit in some of the scores. Features, it's going to be like a 2. Comfort is actually going to be quite high. It's probably somewhere around a 6. Like, it's not a modern comfort. There is a big distinction between the two, and also those brakes aren't going to be particularly great. Quality is going to be probably a little bit lower on older cars, so somewhere around a 5. It is Audi, so they're not terrible quality, but it is getting old now. Practicality is quite good. It's a sedan. It's not like groundbreaking or anything. It is front-wheel drive, so you're hurting a little bit in practicality there on a few certain criteria. So practicality is going to sit around there. Value on these, the prices are going to be quite low, but you're going to have to do a lot of maintenance on these sort of cars. So the value is going to sit around a 3 on the used market now. They're not going to be particularly great. Maybe, you know what, no, 3. Ongoing costs on these sorts of cars is going to be like right in the middle. It's going to be like, it's getting older, so ongoing costs are going to be a little bit higher, but also not exceptionally high. Anyway, JBeam editing, no. Would I buy it? It'd be like a 3. Currently, no. It'd be like a 2. It'd be a great fun car. A je ne sais quoi? You know what? It's actually got quite a high je ne sais quoi. So it's about a 6. So, like, you can have a 0 on a je ne sais quoi. And that wouldn't be a bad thing. It'd just be like, there's not anything undefined about it. That's basically what je ne sais quoi is. It's a certain I don't know what. For realism, I doubt that it would have come with all-round drum brakes. And I feel that hurts it a lot. So I'm going to go realism is a 7. So an overall score of 71. It's fairly mild across the board. And it is a mild car. So I think that's actually a really good score. Well done. Welcome, Matlepur. How's it going? That's a very old radio. It was very old. Yeah, I get really hyped when I see a Saab 900. That still works. Hold on, which one's the 900? Oh yeah, okay. I would say that the Saab 900 and the one just before it would be the other ones that I get excited. Not excited for, but I like them. I kind of like the styling of them, even though that the windshield dorkishly sticks up way too high of a rake. But aside from that, I mean, I like them. But would I look at it over, say, like an MR2? Not really. I'd probably be more interested in the MR2 over this car. That's a personal opinion. And most people's personal opinion. To be honest, turbo in my eyes always good, spooling 1800 RPM, no variable geometry. That's quite unrealistic, especially for older cars. A lot of older cars, the turbo does kick on really late because, I mean, up until recently, like in the last 10 years, they all were running journal bearings. Some cars even still come with journal bearings. And not, ball bearing. If a small turbine and the AR is low, you can definitely get early boosts out of a turbo. Also take into consideration the new automation update will be a big effect on that. Depends how much power you're getting at it as well. The turbo in my IRL car spools just after 3000 RPM. Yeah, that sounds quite reasonable for a like 90s, 2000s, early 2010s sort of car. Like moderate car. Sports cars a little bit later, efficiency cars lower. And it's meant to be my track toy even though I use it every day. Oh dear. Probably don't do that. My uncle's car turbo spools never because he doesn't have one. Okay then. He has a car with an NAI fob. Okay, cool. I've only ever owned one turbo car and that was my Sil 80. But I never drove that car, so yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I like the car. Fairly nice. It's pretty cool. I do like the attention to detail on the rear lights. I love that you went with like a fairly understated car and you didn't really miss anything around here. Just good work. Nice little side trim and all that sort of stuff. Well done. I like it. Let's move on to the next car. The next car is... Desert Buggy. So should I enable the desert map? I don't know how to spell desert. Ghost Desert, there we go, good. Apparently I do know how to spell desert. Ghost Desert, alright, cool. Got to go. I love the stream. Thank you, Super Mark 4. Thanks for stopping by, even if it was for a short amount of time. Yeah, this is on the new update, my Group 5... whatever race car starts boosting at that many RPM without any... TurboTech 1976, oh, okay. That's actually a low amount of horsepower. A lot for a 1.5 liter. But yeah, that's a low amount of horsepower. So I can understand why it is able to spool so low. Even still, it probably wouldn't have spooled so low. They're probably going for a little bit more longevity. Don't do this. Track suspension is terrible in daily use. No, more just along the lines of... tow truck people will hang out at racetracks on track days. You want to know why? Because they'll drive their car there, it'll go fine, they track it out there, not realizing that it is one of the most stressful situations for a car, and inevitably, something will break and it will need to be towed home. It's just a common thing, especially if you're a drift car driver. I used to go drifting all the time, and I would even, like on cars, days where I didn't have cars, I'd still go out there. And, there'd just be tow trucks just waiting because they would get like a really big fare to tow the car a really long distance. And they could charge more because it would usually be well after hours, really long, and there'd be nobody else coming out that way because the racetracks here are very far away from the suburbs. So most places would be like, I'm not going that far. I love this desert map. I think it's pretty cool, yeah. Map would be perfect for a super high-powered sand rail? I don't know what you mean by that. Just been listening to the stream while making my own car. Fair enough. Good, we have a clutch at least. And the big twin-turbo V8. I feel as if there probably wouldn't be a turbo on a car like this. I feel like that's just like inviting a breakdown of some sort. Oh, very biggy there. The turbo comes in. Yeah, somewhere around like 5,500 RPM. And the suspension does articulate, though it is deforming technically. But yeah, there's at least some variable suspension there. Oh, wow. That landed really nicely as well. Oh, this thing is well balanced. Nicely done. I was expecting this thing to be way too front balanced, but this thing goes really well. I want to see what the weight balance is when I come to a stop. Eventually. It will happen. Let's reset it. It's mostly a flat ground. Yeah, this is nearly a 50-50 weight distribution. Well done. I remember watching a old drift video you posted on your old channel. It was nice 240p, yeah. Currently making a Bronco-like thing. Oh, cool. A Sandrail is a rear-wheel drive, high-powered car made for the desert. Oh, okay, cool. Only time something broke in my car on track day, I came back home without front brakes. Oh dear. I think we did a similar thing with our Volvo 244 back in the day, and my dad broke the synchros on a couple of the gears somehow in one go or something like that. I'm not entirely sure what happened. My memory on the whole ordeal was quite vague. But that was our main family car. So that was a big thing, like they had to drive it to the repair place, which is quite a ways away because there's not many repair places that do Volvos in our local area. Anyway, yeah, they ended up getting that fixed. But yeah, they would have to stop and let the car coast to 0. And then turn the car off, put it into first gear, and then drive. And then turn the car off and drive immediately off in first gear. Maybe it was just they broke it in first gear, and I think it's because they went up an embankment, and then he was a little too aggressive putting it back into gear. On a car at that point was probably about, like, getting close to 20 years old? Yeah. My friend is doing is doing tube frame all drive buggy with Audi 1.8 powertrain and suspension parts. Oh, sweet! Watching this on the side while making a gasser car. Oh, interesting. My tech has a Miata. He takes the stock. Okay, cool. Anyway, I think we're going to like not give this one a complicated score unless the person is here and asks for it, because I think this is just like a good off-roading car. It's quite fun. You've done really interesting J-beaming. I think going into more detail on this would just be kind of superfluous. It's good. Well done. It's not connected to the wheels, but close enough. I see what you're going for there. Is the idiot on the track hit him in the rear? Oh dear. I just got an idea. Make your MG an automation and EV swapped version. That is a plan, Dan. Dan with a plan. I have a Brazilian Chevrolet Chevette. It's close to make 30 years now. Okay, cool. So yeah, I like this car. Who made this car? Are they in the chat? I feel like it's Ekaimin. Yeah, it's Ekaimin. So Ekaimin, $200,000. One of your most detailed cars because you've got like a full tube chassis. Well done. I don't think this really is going to benefit much from a score. I think it's just going to hurt you. If you want me to, I will go and do a post-mortem on a score, but you're not here right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and say, great car, well done. I love how you've done the custom suspension, and that was something I was actually considering doing as a video myself, and I think I'll still do it. Dan the plan, Dan is a van. Dan with a van, the man with a plan. Who eats out of a can. Who is a Filmman 86 Stan. Hopefully. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at the next car. That is way too loud. Next car is... the Einhardt C3R. So, this one is by Klaus Bain. Didn't have any details on it, unfortunately. 2.8 liter i5 turbo... 500 horsepower, 500 newton meters, gentle on the throttle. Okay, so I'm going to take this one probably straight to a track. We've got chat here. Who's that by? Been pinged by somebody. BeamNG stuff? Okay, cool. I'm on the wrong map. Brain got flustered by having chat sent to me in the middle of a stream. Because they should be here in the chat, not... Okay. That was weird. Sure. Okay, BeamNG. Good on ya. The Einhardt C3R. So, just a sports car. I just noticed for one of my cars, you listed it as the Minor C6R SS, but it's actually the Urus Minor. Oh, okay then. The brand is Alexander, but I didn't put that in. Okay. Sure. Okay, is this your car, then? No. Oh, it's later on. Okay. That'll come later. Yeah, so I love the design of this car. The design is pretty well done. Attention to detail. Is it like a fancy, schmancy Ferrari top-end sort of car? No. But it just looks rather nice. And I do like the details you've got on here. So that will be a good score. No clutch. We have ESC. We're going to see how ESC goes. This is an i5, but it's got twin exhaust. Oh, we're getting lots of lag under braking. That is very unfortunate. God damn it, BeamNG devs. Stop giving us things like mattresses and fridge and TVs and all that sort of stuff. And actually focus on better performance. My God. Like, I don't have a top end, but I also don't have a bottom end PC. I shouldn't be lagging like this under braking. Like, my frame rate goes way less than half. It goes from about 78 to 36 FPS under brakes. And not even hard braking. That is pretty bad. Let's go ahead and turn ESC off and see if that does anything. Still quite muted on the driving experience. Do we have front drive? We do not. Okay, it actually feels like an all drive, like kind of a muted thing. There's lots of body roll, maybe too much body roll. Okay, we're still getting a lot of frame lag. I wonder if turning ABS off works. Turbocharge, no, that's the wrong one. Assist control. Let's see if turning that off entirely will help our situation. Even with some of my own cars, I get massive lag under braking. It's so annoying. Yeah. What do you mean some of your own cars? Just any cars. I would get it under my own cars. Nope, we're still getting lots of lag under braking. Alright. Let's go ahead and put those back in. And then make sure that they're turned off. So at least we have the ABS. Okay. It is very annoying. 78 FPS, I wish I had that. Yeah, I don't have the graphics turned up to full, so yeah, we're only getting 78 at the moment. Is it usually depending on the amount of rear lighting fixtures where the lag causes under braking? I don't think so. Because there's not like a lot of brakes there. I don't think that's the issue. That is super jank to drive. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to give you like a full score. I'm going to have to give you a lot of contrived scores. Let's try a different map. Let's see if it'll do better on a different map. Let's go to Hirochi Raceway. See if this does anything. Can confirm, doesn't matter if you have an insane gaming rig or an early 2000s laptop, the ABS obliterate my PC's frame rate in some cars. I wasn't actually braking that hard, and also I tried it without brakes there. Javier Perez, welcome. That wasn't the issue. I have a gaming laptop and game still lags under braking. Yeah, I have a gaming PC. I have a 1080. I have I've had good processors. Currently I'm running like a mid-range AMD. So it shouldn't be that bad. Lots of RAM. Like 32 gigs or something like that. Groundhog, welcome! 30 FPS on the lower settings. Yeah, I know. Like, not everyone has that sort of luxury. Yep, nope, still lagging. And that makes it very not fun to drive. Do we have any sort of JB editing? Not by the looks of it. Do we have a cockpit cam? No, we don't. So I can't see whether the gauge is doing anything. I don't think the gauges are doing anything. Nah. Okay, so we're just going to have to work on minor things only. Well, we're going to try to do like a non-braking drive. Just coasting down, going quite slow. That's pretty good. What is it about the braking that causes an issue? This is so hard to drive without brakes! God damn it. Even at slow speeds. What about reversing? So it's not the reverse button. I don't know what it is causing this issue. Every modern day video game is badly optimized. Yeah, I know. This includes BeamNG and automation photo scenes. Yeah, automation is going through a bit of a bad period, but they're working on it a lot. And they're actually pretty good devs. Fun to drive. A little bit hard to control at high speeds. But let's go ahead and give this a score, because I don't think I'm seeing the person in the chat talk. So let's just move on. Styling. Pretty nice. It's pretty up there. It's like a good BMW sort of design is what I get for the feeling from this guy. It just feels like a BMW sort of intricate detail, maybe a little bit of Mercedes in there. Acceleration, fairly good, but it's no hypercar. So we're going to go somewhere like... I wonder what the time is. Oh, damn it. Let's see what we do 0 to 100. And then we'll give that one a proper score. Oh, I noticed a little badge there on the grill. That's nice. 2, 3, 4. Okay. So it's pretty good acceleration. There's no hypercar though. So acceleration is going to be somewhere around a 7. Handling, it's a little bit wallowy, so we're going to go a 6 on that. Fun factor is going to be a little bit low. No, maybe a little bit higher. It is actually quite controllable, but unfortunately too wallowy. Cool factor is probably going to be fairly high. It's probably like a very well-known sports car. Trackability, it's going to be moderate, somewhere like a 6 to a 7. We're going to go a 7 on that one. It's just a little too wallowy. Unfortunately, just the body roll is way too much. Features. All of the modern kind of like hidden behind screen sort of thing. Fair enough. We'll say that the features are fairly good. So it's going to be somewhere around like a 7. Probably doesn't have massaging seats. Who knows? Every time... Oh, already time to shower and then off to dinner. Enjoy the stream, all of you, including Phil. Enjoy streaming as well. Thank you, Firebird. Catch you next time. 30 FPS is minimum for playability for me. So, 36 FPS may not sound bad, but here's the issue. It's not a normal 36 FPS. It's a physics-destroying FPS. So that means that the game wants to run at 70, but it's like playing at a different speed when it happens. So, it is really hard to drive. Quality. It's a BMW, so... Oh, like sort of thing. You haven't really said anything about it, so I'm just going to assume it's probably more German. So quality is not going to be particularly high, so we'll put it somewhere around a 6. It's probably going to break down and then cost you like $10,000 to fix a small thing. Which happens a lot on BMWs, Audis, Mercedes, Porsches. A little bit less, but still happens on BMWs, Audis. Sorry, sorry, not BMWs, Audis, Volkswagens. They're not so bad, but they still do get pretty bad. Audi's probably one of the worst ones, and along with BMWs and Mercedes. Practicality, it's 2-door, right? Let's get my hand in there. Yeah, so it's 2-door with no legroom in the back. So practicality is going to be fairly low. I mean, it still has a boot. Not the biggest boot. So practicality could sit somewhere around there. Value for this is going to be decent, I suppose. Resale is probably going to be a little bit higher since it's a sports model. They're going to maintain a little bit more. Ongoing costs, it is looking European. So I'm going to say the ongoing costs are going to be somewhere around a 3. JB editing, there was none of that. Would I buy it? You know what, actually, it's pretty cool. A 6, a je ne sais quoi. I mean, it's kind of got that, but not a lot. You know what, no, I'm going to go a 4 on that one. Realism... It seems fairly real. So, yeah, we'll go with that. That gives you a score of 94. That's pretty good for a car which is not really drivable right now. VW and Audi use the same engines? Yeah, but Audi does a worse job of putting things together. Somehow. With, their bigger engines, particularly, which I don't actually think Volkswagen use the bigger Audi engines. I think they share some engines. Mercedes broke down in terrible manner. Porsches are surprisingly reliable. True, Porsches are surprisingly reliable, but that's only surprisingly out of if you're comparing it to supercars. As a normal road day car, they're only slightly more reliable. The problem is that if they break down, the prices are phenomenally high. Bonkersly high for what they are. Well, they're like a low production run, but still mass manufactured sports cars. Whereas supercars are one-offs, or not one-offs, but like low production handmade cars. And they're similar prices somehow. It's ridiculous. I don't have the fanciest PC because I got into a habit a lot of saving money. In fact, I started to save so much I should buy that MG you have. Nice. And I got my first car like 3 months ago. So an MG, before people start to realize how cool they are, you should probably pop in on that, like $5,000 to $8,000 for a decent one. In Australia, I'm not sure entirely where you're from. You may have said it, but my brain don't work. Memory's really bad. You know what? Actually, hold on. I put practicality too high. Put that as a 3. Still a 92. Good score. Yeah. The MG is a cool car. But be prepared for that day that the head gasket goes, unless the head gasket has been fixed. And be prepared that they've lied about it being fixed. Porsches are only surprisingly reliable because they're glorified Volkswagens? No, I wouldn't agree to that at all. They don't share much at all with Volkswagen. Really, at all. I don't have the most expensive PC either. Specs i5. That's actually pretty decent. 9th gen? It depends what sort of i5 though. GTX 1650. I don't know that graphics card. 8 gigabytes of RAM, that's quite low actually. 8 gigabytes is barely enough to run Windows. 4 gigs, sorry, is barely enough to run Windows. And then you're like gonna have to choose between having Windows open sort of thing. Otherwise you're gonna run into a problem with Chrome. Porsche 911 literally tells you what number to dial after checking the price for the maintenance bill. Oh dear. Electric Volkswagen should be called Volkswagen. Didn't they say that they were going to do that as an April Fool's joke? And then idiots went out and like started buying shares thinking, oh, that's really going to help their image. And then Volkswagen's like, no, clearly it was an April Fool's joke, you fucking idiots. And then these idiots were going off coke to, oh, get the FCC involved, that's like a share manipulation, all that sort of stuff. We got scammed. Like, what is wrong with you? Morons. Oh, hold on. Are you saying that the price the price is the length of a phone number? Is that what you're trying to get at? Funny effect there. That's pretty funny. In Belgium, we have mostly France and German cars, and from experience, German cars are the most reliable. Compare it to a good Japanese car. Completely different thing. Ongoing costs for owning like an American or an Australian, what used to be Australian cars, not that bad. Japanese cars also very cheap to repair. Honda was one of the best rated cars for post sales value, I think, or something like that for the longest time. Their engines are really super duper reliable. Compare that to a German car where, like, sure, only like 1 or 2 things will go wrong in a really long time for the first while, but those 1 or 2 things will cost you like $10,000 sometimes. Like, it becomes ridiculous. And their post-sales support, like, they'll go, oh, there's a little filter in the Audi RS6 which they don't sell parts for. They only sell like the whole compartment together, so it costs you like a frick ton of money. So that's where I'm getting at that. Angry Phil, Scary Phil? What, really? Am I angry? Already upgraded storage to be adding 4 terabyte hard drive? Oh dear, that's a lot of hard drive. I have a PO box that I share with an old place that I lived at, but I still know them, and they still do give mail to me when it shows up. So if you want to sell me some of your, send me some of your German chocolates. I just can't make a big can. Anyway, whatever. PO Box 471 Gawler 5118, I think. South Australia. So yeah, you want to sell me some of those German chocolates? Yeah. Hold on, that's not quite right. There you go. PO Box 471 Gawler. Anyway, that's enough of that. We've had the most reliable car of ours. What? You got that photo from pawn shop for 100. Oh, that's a lot of money. Is it a hard drive for 100 euro? That's way too much to spend. If it was an SSD for 100 euro for 4 terabytes, that's phenomenal price. Anyway, let's move on to the next car. I did enjoy that one, though there was some problems with it. This one looks like it belongs on a sports car anyway, the Jacquard or something like that. Here we go. By Broken Ursa, 1983, an equivalent price of $18,800 in 2012, or I'm just going to call it modern day pricing, whatever. Amazonia's first sports car since their acclaimed Piranha, I'm assuming that's how that's pronounced, from 1965. So, cool little car. I think there was a backstory of like imports being basically unviable because of some government regulation that changed. The only thing you've upgraded since 2017 is storage and RAM. Yeah, I get that. That's probably all I would have done if I didn't have to. It's pronounced Zakare. Okay, sure. I'd be very happy with a PC for 100 euro. Oh dear, that would be very cheap. Anyway, this was the little east-west single-point fuel injection thing, right? You heard all my ramble about the fuel injection choice was probably incorrect. Shingled or not? Probably not shingled at 4 gigabytes. 4 gigabytes is not too hard to do. Unless maybe it's an old, early thing, I'm not sure. So, driving it around, fairly gutless, but I suppose that's to be expected. Especially for the price. The price is quite cheap. I feel that this thing... Hold on, it does have a short gear ratio. What are we able to do in first gear? Okay, yeah. I feel the gear ratio could probably be somewhere around 15 kilometers an hour shorter for first gear. Make it a little bit peppier, because it does feel a little bit lethargic. Under acceleration, you have to kind of like accelerate too much. Maybe smaller, cheaper tires. No, that is already very small tires. Anyway, you guys are talking about PC stuff. I'm just going to keep talking about this car. It feels blunt with its lack of power, unfortunately. Not entirely sold on the power delivery. I don't know what you're going for. Is the car really heavy? No. Let's go have a look. Oh, it's over a ton. I feel like this car in this era actually would have been a lot lighter. I feel that this car probably could have come in at like 700 kilos. Like it probably would have been very low safety for this car. Because it's not a normal car. Did you say it was fiberglass? not sure. Anyway. Let's try a little bit more high-speed sort of stuff. Very prone to oversteer. Is it cross-plies? On a... Oops. 1983 car. Unfortunately, Broken Ursa has gone silent. Why you no talk to me, Broken Ursa? I'm reviewing your car. Talk to me here. Because, yeah, unfortunately, there's flaws with your design here. I think in 1983, unless this... Oh, you know what? It was trying to be really cheap. And they might have still gone with cross-plies. But I feel that it probably would have come with radials at this point. Unless, like, price was already too high. Even still, I feel that radials would have been the better choice. I was aiming for 800 kilos, but automation said no, and Beam said no even harder. That's unfortunate. Okay. Was it not a fiberglass body? I feel like that would have dropped it a lot. The size to... connector, which is... Okay, then. This car needs some excitement. It does feel a little bit dull. Like, the design of it is quite nice. I do like the design a lot. I like the interior as well, even if it is a bit basic. Do we have an interior camera? No, we don't. There's no J-beam editing either, so it's nice. I wanted cross pliers, but I couldn't get the size I wanted, so they are radials. Okay, they're just really narrow then, and it's tuned a little bit for oversteer. Then as radials, this actually feels very lively. I was doing your 200 horsepower challenge that you said earlier, and somehow made a terminally oversteery front-wheel drive car. Oh dear. Happy Chinese New Year? Okay, well, happy Chinese New Year to you, Chen, I suppose. It is fiberglass, but the steel chassis still weighs it down. Oh, that's unfortunate. No dear. Also, that doesn't help that it's brown. I mean, I'd actually say that's more maroon, or maroon, however you want to pronounce it, than red. Here in South Australia, where I went to school, it was a part of my sports day outfit. Like, my house's sports wear was maroon, so we would call it maroon. That was what we called the color. But I hear a lot of other people pronounce it, sorry, maroon, sorry, is how we would pronounce it. It's been so long since I've been to school that my brain is now confabulating everything together. It has decent turn in, it doesn't oversteer terminally, it's a little bit fun. I don't think it's the fastest car. I feel that, like, the gear ratio is hurting it a lot. Though it is nice. I like it. I'm surprised you couldn't get cross-plies at this, like, tire size ratio. Oh dear. This is really fun. I do like it. Does it have hidden secret wings? Not by the looks of it. So, I think I'm ready to give this thing a score. I like it. Maroon. Maroon is such a 70s, 80s color. It was supposed to be black with red pearl, but Beam doesn't. Yeah, BeamNG does struggle a lot. What is shingled HD even? Okay, don't worry about shingled. That's too much of an explanation right now. Shingled array is just a thing which they use for really big drives. I doubt that yours is. Does your hard drive write incredibly super duperly slow, otherworldly slow? Then it might be shingled, but I doubt it. Styling. I do actually like the styling. The retro kind of callback to, even compared to modern cars, wouldn't call this ugly. I would say that, compared to modern cars, this is actually quite cool. So we're gonna go with, yeah, you know what, actually an 8. I do like the shape. It's nice. Acceleration, quite low, so we're gonna go pretty harsh on that. That's like a 4. Handling is gonna be pretty decent. You know, 6 fits. Fun factor, 7 fits. Cool factor, probably gonna be a lot higher. Because it's not going to be seen very much by, like, Australians and Americans, so when we see it, it's going to be really rather cool. And also, like, that weird thing that happened because of government regulation. That's kind of cool. Trackability, a lot lower though. And let's go ahead and just delete everything so I'm not influenced by the previous scores. Features. I think it was, what, 2 radios for some reason? Yep, 2 radios. So features are quite low because they're also quite analog. We're going to go with 2. Comfort on this is probably going to be fairly moderate. Being a very cheap car, it's probably not going to be great, so we're going to go with 4. Quality, I'm assuming, is not going to be particularly great, but also cheap enough to keep going, so somewhere around a 4. Oh, you said fiberglass, so it's going to be even less, because that does become shit. Sorry for the harshness. Practicality, it's quite low. It is a sports car, so 2 for 2 seats. Value, quite good, but I'm assuming the used price of these is up a lot. But we'll still go like a 6 on that. Ongoing costs, I don't know whether this would have been a long-running car and a long-running engine. So maybe like a 5. It's not bad, it's not terrible. JBM editing, there is none. Would I buy it? 8, obviously, yes. The je ne sais quoi? No, you know what? It is about a 4. It's not great. It's a little too dull. Realism. That injector setup that you got is quite unlikely to happen in that circumstance. How do you think about is whenever Top Gear complained if a car is brown or not? Really? Oh. Maybe my hard drive is... oh, whatever. Let's just ignore that for now. Once again, spam from whatever that spam bot is. Okay. A score of 80. That's actually pretty decent, especially for an older car. That is quite good. I do like this car. Let's go ahead and clear everything out. And let's look at the next car. The Mihong Sung Luxury. This is meant to be Chinese. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a Chinese map. I could set it around a Japanese map, but that would really offend both sides by saying that they may be related in some sort of way. So... I don't know. Let's just take it to automation test track. You're pleased with 80? Good. You can just pay attention to the scores you want, though, if that's more important to you. But yeah, that's actually a decent score. I don't think that car was a supercar. It wasn't really, that last one, no. Not very fast for a supercar. No, it's more like a moderate sports car that they made mid-engine. Alright, B-Hug. So I go to the luxury. By Crispy Shaman, who is in the chat here, who's talking about hard drives for some reason in my chat. $64,500. For a Chinese car, that is incredibly expensive. But they are starting to offer that sort of range now for the Chinese. The one thing that I know about, well, actually, the 2 things I know about, one of the 2 things I know about Chinese cars is they love gadgets. All kind of gadgets. Fit every gadget in there. This thing has to have massaging seats, heat warmers, seat warmers, even if they suck. They just have to have it. I've got an eyelash in the corner of my eye that I can see. Good. Okay, it's gone now. Anyway, Chinese high-end estate powered with 470 horsepower, 3.8 liter V6. The solution for the Chinese businessman. I think it was something else, but I just had to shorten it down. So, we do have lots of gadgets here in the back. We have independent CD players. Okay, sure. Dials for each side, tray tables, speakers in the doors. Lots of detail in here. The gaudy badge also kind of fits. The radio, the cigarette lighters, the extra switches and dials. It's got everything. The big screen, good. Okay, I am happy. It does satiate the Chinese want for gadgets. For some reason, that is just the thing that they absolutely love. Big market as well. Sunroofs actually work properly. That's pretty good. You've done a lot of detail of filling in door panels. Screens on the backs of the things. Yes, this has everything the Chinese person wants. But as a station wagon, I don't know if that really fits their taste, does it? I don't know. Chinese or Korean? No, I believe that they said that this is Chinese, right? Yeah, Chinese businessman. Unless it's meant to be just sold in China, who knows? Italy, maybe? I don't think so. I wonder where a tank would get when it comes to fill score. Pretty bad, but you can ask for it if you want it. Otherwise, if you're not here to ask for it, I'll probably say no. I'll probably just tell you how much I enjoyed it. So make sure you're here if you do submit a tank. Hold on. If you can't show up here on time... No, this doesn't go alphabetically. Or it does, kind of. If you can figure out how to make your car show up later in the list, you might get lucky in making it show up later. I think my first tank got like 40, but he had no such fun. Okay then. I don't think I gave it a fill score, but anyway. Hi, just finished watching the Baby Lotus ripoff. Oh, okay then. Now time to watch the entire stream. Okay. I hope you enjoyed the video. I was actually worried that the video wasn't going to be that well received. I didn't feel great about it, but you guys seem to love it. I'm surprised. Thanks. I could have done better, actually, but yeah, that was what I did. I tried to make the best story out of the shitstorm that happened. But yeah, what engine do we have again? There's a big V6. Let's have a look at said V6. V6 twin turbo, yep. It does have catalytic converters, good. I don't know why, I just felt that I just needed to check that sort of thing to make sure that they didn't just go, let's just give it all race intakes. Does it have a race intake? It has a high performance intake, so not great for engine sound, I'm assuming. Which is something that the Chinese do want, which is very quiet luxury sort of cars. It is actually quite quiet, it's not very loud. Very wallowy suspension, I mean, look at that body roll, oh my god. I suppose you said that this could be considered a crossover? You might get away with that? I was gonna watch it, but the stream started, so I'm gonna watch it later after stream. Yeah, cool. I would put the tank engine into a tiny car, something like the tank swapped Crown Vic, but smaller. Sure, okay. We're getting a little bit of lag under braking, but at least it's not as bad. It was going down to 43, 45 sort of range. This feels alright. I've got something in the corner of my eye, and it's bugging me. Have I got something on my face? Give me a second. I don't know. Hopefully I got it. Okay. Pause. So, quite a fast car. We're going to see how it does handling-wise, at least. Even if it is meant to be more of a luxury sort of car. I feel that the power delivery could be a little bit smoother. Let's go from a stop. Brakes are not good. Was this? Yeah, this is exported old version. What brakes do we have? We have 2 piston. So yeah, I think maybe the brakes are a little too unbalanced. Let's rewind as well. See what the power delivery is like. It is an automatic, so it'll be a little bit better. You know what? Actually, no, that is fairly smooth. That's not horrible. And also being Chinese, their attention to detail is not particularly high. It's just fit in as many things as people want, sort of thing, as what the Chinese like. And then 240. Oh, I turned in late. That handles pretty well. This does handle really well. Braking super late. I forgot about the fact that the brakes are... Oh, okay. No, the brakes aren't that bad. I feel that the brakes could be a lot better. I think we may need to hurry up as we're approaching 3-hour mark and we've only tested half the cars. Okay, yeah, cool. Let's go ahead and give this one a score. Those brakes are atrocious. Let's have a look. So, styling. I mean, it looks okay. A little bit tacky. That's the wrong light. Button. There we go. Cool. I think it fits the Chinese sort of thing, so they'll give more of a realism kind of score and counteract the fact that I don't think the engine is particularly Chinese. Styling somewhere around like, yeah, 6. I mean, good attention to detail, but we're not going with attention to detail. What we're going with is a score of a realistic car. You know what? No, we'll give it a 7. Acceleration is pretty good, so we'll give that a 7. Handling, not so great. It's not terrible, but it feels really uncomfortable. Maybe that'll come under cover, so maybe we'll give it a 6. Fun factor, it's way too wallowy to be very fun, but we'll give it a 6 nonetheless. Cool factor. It's a Chinese car, so it's not very cool. There's a lot of animosity towards the Chinese currently, especially with all of their politics and everything. Trackability, I'm assuming it's not going to be particularly great, but also not terrible, so maybe somewhere around a 6. It is quite fast, but it's not like a great track car. It's way too wallowy. Features, I'm assuming this is going to be very high, so we're going to give it like a 9. You know what? No. Being a Chinese top-end car, it's probably got 10 on features. Comfort is going to be quite low. It's way too wallowy. So, having soft suspension is more comfortable than hard suspension. But when your suspension becomes really wallowy, you start to get into the point where it becomes uncomfortable again. Because going over like rise and all that sort of stuff kind of like accentuates that sometimes, and that can be very uncomfortable. So the comfort is going to be, you know, actually be about a 5. I think the Lexus, that like really ugly Lexus, not the Lexus Sora or the Toyota Sora, but the other one that was like really soft and rounded, the convertible one. Like, that's a good exemplification. Soft suspension, but not comfortable because it was way too wallowy and bouncy. Like, just not great. Quality, being Chinese, probably not the greatest. I know that's a bit of a stereotype, but it's a higher end one, so maybe it'll be not so bad. I don't know. It is very expensive, so maybe the quality is actually a lot higher. Practicality, I mean, it's a wagon, so it's got practicality there. It looks like it could go slightly off-road, lots of room, good for long drives with kids in the back because they got entertainment and everything that they want. So practicality will be somewhere around an 8. It's quite high. I mean, even a 9 maybe. Value is going to be, it's quite expensive, but you're probably getting your worth for it, so maybe like a 7. But I just feel like it's going to be a little bit, I know that this is also maybe a bit offensive, but chintzy is probably what I'm going to say. Ongoing costs are probably going to be quite good, so we're going to give that like an 8, because the parts are probably going to be quite cheap and affordable to come by. J-beam editing, there is none as far as I'm aware. Nope, doesn't look like it. There's no interior camera, so I can't look at gauges or anything. Would I buy it? It's not really my thing. I don't like SUVs and crossovers and stuff, so we're going to go on like, but it has a lot of power. I don't know, a 4. The je ne sais quoi factor, I don't know. I don't think I've really noticed anything that doesn't fit into the score categories, so I think it's fine to just give it like a flat score. So don't think that it's a bad score. I just think that it's well represented already. Realism, like a 7. I doubt that the Chinese are going to make an engine quite like that. I don't know. So a 92, pretty high score. Thrust SCC for faster car. What? I'm building my 200 horsepower car for the next week. It's a 3.4 liter 9-cylinder radial. Have fun. Okay. Engine that does not exist in automation, but sure. Let's hope that you do some good work on it. You need good dampening to make soft suspension comfortable. Adaptive suspension sort of stuff to get a little bit stiffer, sure. But I think that was too wallowy. SC400, I think that's correct. You saw one today? Wow. I don't think I've ever actually seen one in real life. No J-beam? Okay then. Find thrust SCC? Sure. It's a stock automation car, 92, good score, happy with that. Good to hear. I think because 150 is the highest score, if that's correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, okay, 160. That's 80 is the halfway point, which is where you would expect most cars to be. But most of you are doing pretty decent sort of mild cars. And I hope that you guys aren't making just like mild cars to get better scores. I want to see what you guys create. I just want to see what you have fun with. Let's go ahead and have a look for the next car. Next car is, the Bandini Aura GT. I feel like I should take that one to Italy. Italia? Italia. I just don't like saying Italy. It's getting too boring. The word Italy is boring. Wait, are you guys talking about the SC400? Maybe? I think that's the name. Might try and make a Cadillac Commando in automation. But I've been in other wallowy cars, but I think the SC400 400 embodies it more. But there was the luxury, I think, I don't know if it's Statesman, it might have been the Calais, mid-90s Holden Commodore, like the really round bulbous one. That one had a little bit of the like, you know, the sort of like uneven bumpy road, very common in outback sort of areas in Australia where the roads become really bouncy, and if you're hitting any sort of like resonant frequency of the suspension sort of thing, the car becomes like really uncomfortable, and then accentuates and you just all over the place. It becomes really uncomfortable. Australian roads, quite shit. So that's what my experience comes from. Might try and make it okay. Here we go. The Bandini. Oh, that's a good sound. Orata GT. Is it not on the list? Did I stuff up? Oh, no. So this is the car. It's the one that I didn't know the name of. So it's this one here. I hate the fact that you changed the name of the file. That meant that I didn't know what the name of the car was, because you also didn't put the name of the car anywhere. So I was kind of screwed. Let's go next page on music. Now, I'm pretty sure I saw Ome in here earlier. Yeah, I did see Ome. Umai? Here in the chat earlier. So realistic 2 earlier is a time most people will get it? What? Actually, my car can do a 212 on automation track, but was a pain to get there. Brakes aren't that good since it's heavy, and suspension being so soft, it took 50... Wow, okay. I believe the SC400 came in a few engine options, didn't it? I'm not sure. Anyway, 1982, $50,000 Italian GT sedan powered by a modified American muscle V8, fastest sedan in the world in 1982. If it's using a modified V8, maybe? I wonder how much power it makes. I hate these extra steps. Fuck the devs. This thing, oh wow, okay. Oh, it's forced induction. So like the turbo kicks in at 6,000 RPM. That is a very weird torque graph. I don't know if you could really see that. I probably should agree to it and move on. That is a weird torque graph. Anyway, that looks like about 400 horsepower and 500 newton meters of torque. That's a lot. Okay. V16 or V12 for this? No. Make it twin engine? What are we talking about now? I want to make a 200 horsepower car, but want to give it an unusual engine. Any ideas? Okay, weird. You love the headlights on this car? Hey, look at that! They do pop up! Nice work on my. I really wish you were here. That's awesome. Well done. Oh, the indicator lights up. That's unfortunate. Could have fixed that. 0 on JBeam editing score now. I'm joking. I wouldn't do that. Oh, they don't actually project? Oh, that's unfortunate. Bugger, I didn't know that. Do we have first person? Yeah, we do have first person. Unfortunately, the lights don't project, so that is poopycocks. That's not what I want. I want an environment. No, there we go. Okay. Yep, fully working gauges. Love it. That's it. That is pretty nice. I was thinking about something like a smaller twin-charged i4. Okay, but I don't think that you can do that in automation, at least. Ah, this is super jank! Oh, the handling on this is weird. Alright, let's have a look. So they said it was a muscle V8. Let's go to an outside camera so I can control it better with controller. Huh. Engine in the front, that's right. Is this pushrod? Hopefully it is. Yeah, that's pushrod, so that's good. But that's right. Being a muscle V8, being a 60 degree, I don't know about that. That's an odd choice. And unfortunately, you're not here to defend yourself. Whoa! This thing puts down power a lot. Love the sound of the engine, though. What suspension do we have again? Double wishbone, okay. Quite European. Ooh, okay. Controllable, but not that controllable. Way too much power. Alright, this would be used as a cruiser sort of car. So let's see what sort of speeds we can reach on these back roads in the mountains where there's like less police. Kilometers an hour, by the way. 146. Handling is not that bad, actually. I feel that this Italy map needs actual, like, dedicated racetracks on it. The brakes are pretty shockingly bad. This is fun. I like it. This makes me happy as a car. The only thing I don't like about it is its penchant to, like, excessively oversteer. And, what's the other one? Oh, hold on. You know what? I just saw the lights were bent. No, I wanted to hit it on an angle. I want to see what it looks like with bent headlights coming up. There we go. Alright, let's see what bent headlights look when they come up now. Funny. I like it. Wait, what? It's broken! I broke them! I love it! I'm pretty sure that he attached the hydraulic beams from the civet bolide. Might be wrong? Who knows? The most American VNs are 90 degree? Yeah. So this is a 60 degree. Did I say that wrong? Whatever. This thing is fast. It's pretty darn good. Is the fuel gauge working? Can't actually see the fuel gauge from this direction. It's got a low fuel gauge. Has he done... No, he hasn't done that. This thing would only be more realistic if it overheated a lot too. So let's... Will it overheat on its own? Not a lot. Okay, so it's somewhere around halfway. Yeah, no, I don't think that gauge is hooked up either. Battery voltage probably not realistic. Oh, that's oil temperature. That's temperature. Okay. I've seen enough. I'm very happy. Let's go ahead and give this thing a score. You gave him some advice on the headlights, so I'm happy to be able to see the final product. Yeah, most of the default maps are lacking tracks. No, but I feel Italy should have a racetrack. I know that this is like an island on Italy, so maybe it wouldn't have a racetrack, but Italy is like big into racing. You'd think that they would have a racetrack here available. So I feel that this one should have one. Let's go ahead and start giving it a score. Let's go ahead and remove everything first so I'm not affected by the previous scores. Styling. It's questionable, but I think it's starting to become retro cool again. So we're going to give it somewhere around a 7. Back in the day, anywhere like in between would have been terrible scores. Acceleration, fairly decent but hard to control, but we'll still give it like probably a 6, I don't know. Handling, it's okay. Fun factor, actually it's quite high, because it's like you can do rip burnouts for just the hell of it. Cool factor, I'm assuming is going to be quite high, being a low production run most likely. Trackability is probably going to be quite low, because it is a bit sketch to handle, but not terrible, so we're going to give it somewhere around a 5. Features! It is an older car, so the score here, if you don't care about these scores, that's fine, you can just ignore them. We have, we have seat warmers, so it's not terrible. But it's not going to be fan-diddly-tastic. It doesn't have, like, lane assist and all garbage like that. So features are going to be somewhere around, like, a 4. For an old car, that's pretty good. Comfort is probably going to be... It's an older car. Let's, have a look at the handling again. It doesn't look rock solid. Doesn't look bad either. The level of sound will affect the comfort, though. And I think that is maybe excessively too loud. Put max fuel in, maybe the needle will move. No, it didn't move. Italy's biggest race back in the day are on roads, though. Yeah, sure, but it also has, like... Imola is a Italy racetrack, right? It has Monza. It has Monaco, which is, I suppose, actually a road track. But there's no, like, layout for that. Anyway, so comfort is going to be 6. It is a little too loud for comfort. Quality. I'm assuming the quality is not going to be so great on such an old car, but maybe we'll give it a 7. Like, the feel quality will be good. The actual quality will probably be a little bit lower, though, since it's probably breaking down the plastics and everything. Practicality. Moderate boot. Actually, you know, that's a pretty long boot, because the boot will go all the way up to here. Lots of seat and all that sort of stuff. So there's also no, like... Oh no, there is headrest there, so the comfort is about fine. Practicality. Like a 7? Value? It's an old Aston, so the prices are going to be probably pretty high, but they're going to be going up a lot, so maybe somewhere around a 6. Ongoing costs are going to be probably abysmal on this, but it is an American engine, so we'll just give it a 5 for now. J-Beam editing, pretty darn good, so we're just going to give it an 8. I'm not going to try to stay consistent with that score. You can go screw yourself if you want me to be consistent on these. Would I buy it? I probably wouldn't be able to afford it, so the would I buy it is going to be quite low. But it's not going to be a 0 because I would like to buy it, because this would be a fun car. This je ne sais quoi? I don't think there's anything not represented here, so I'm going to give it like a 2, because just the sound feels really nice. The realism... I don't know about the 60-degree V8. That is killing it for me. But I'll go somewhere like an 8. No, 7. So it's pretty good. 96 score. That is the highest so far today. So well done, Umai. You cannot count every Italian track. There are tons of them. Yeah, sure, okay. Monaco is not in Italy. Oh, you're right. Monaco isn't in Italy. It doesn't even border with Italy, does it? Oops, what? Why is it? Did it just say Monaco, France? Weird. Ah, it does almost border with Italy. That might have been where the confusion came from for me. Yep, good spot on that one. Yeah, Monaco is surrounded by France. Yeah, it's a city-state. Let's go ahead and check out the next car. That was actually quite fun to drive. Ah, okay, the Ratflack Conservative SE. So this is meant to be some sort of race car. Let's go ahead and take it to a racetrack. I feel like it's a European car, like an Aston Martin. They didn't really give any information, so we're going to take it to Spa-Francorchamps. Looks like Mr. Philman screwed up. Whatever. At least I was able to get it in the right continent, which is more than what I can see in American videos about Americans knowing locations of places. So, the Ratfink Conservative SE. Ratfink by Snoo. So thank you for the car, Snoo. $250,000. It is 4.5 liter, double overhead cam, 40 valve, cross plane, twin turbo V8. So kind of like your McLaren-y sort of engine, or better. Whereas North Korea points to Canada. Oh dear. I mean, I suppose they're actually not that far from each other. I forgot how to spell Korea there for a second. Can we zoom out and go to global view? I want to see globe view. Do we have to go to that? Okay, yeah, no, they are quite far apart. It's Canada and Alaska that's close to Russia. So, yeah, my bad. Northern Hemisphere, higher than America. Good thing I'm not fully American? Sure. I mean, it's not an indictment on the people, it's an indictment on the government and funding for education and stuff like that. I feel like making a 1980s F1 car body, I don't know why. I will be getting there myself at some point. One time my friend mismatched Asia for South America. I could see people mismatching South America for Africa, because they have very similar sort of shapes, in my opinion. Are we gonna go to globe view? Is that globe view? Anyway, South Africa. So you got like the main thing here, and then it kind of bulges out to the left side. If we go to South America, main thing up here, and then it kind of bulges off to the left side. So that's why I kind of think that those two look the same. You know what? I never realized how close they are. Huh. I just never noticed. How do we get to globe view? Is it globe view? No, it's not globe view. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, Phil, you're not that far apart, just split by the Pacific. Yeah, I know, I just never thought about it, because I've only ever seen the map where they're like really far apart. Which countries are you going to? Proceeds to say Paris. Okay. Why do some people have such a hard time with geology? Yeah, geography, not geology. Thank you, Broken Ursa. Everyone being wrong today. I'm tired. Yeah, I agree. It's because it's not really, honestly, important. Only for a few people is it actually important. The majority of humanity, it is not important, really at all. It's just more of a fun tidbit of information sort of thing, maybe, one day. That you could make YouTube videos about how people don't know locations of countries. Like, it's kind of important to know the neighboring countries to where you are, and aggressive countries, kind of. But only kind of. Unless you're actually in a war, that doesn't matter, really. leading up to a war. It's probably going to be good to study up on that, but other than that, it doesn't matter. Just remember Madagascar was the first settled by people from Malaysia. Oh, really? Africa and South America would fit well? Well, I think that's the whole Gondwana thing where they do fit together. I'm feeling smooth brain right now? Sure, whatever. Agree to disagree, we are all dumb. Sure, okay. The ESC is apparently not strong enough to stop the wheel spin on this car. Lots of understeer there. Alright, let's go ahead and turn the ESC off. I feel that is affecting us negatively. I hear scraping. So, as I thought, this is actually a beginner car. Have to slow down a lot for this one, and there's not enough. Lots of understeer. That is way too much understeer. Yeah, our front wing is hitting the ground. So that will actually be subtracting front grip when you get into higher speeds. So yeah, unfortunately, flawed as hell. Which is unfortunate because I was hoping this thing would make up for it. But yeah, it doesn't work particularly well. Let's not dwell too much on going through Eau Rouge and focus more on different corners. Because this one is, even on good cars, tricky. Ah! Was this all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive? I think that is just rear-wheel drive. Yeah, good, okay. Just wanted to make sure. Pretty decent for the ability to have a rear-wheel drive and be able to not oversteer like chronic. But I think that's because you've got copious amounts of understeer, unfortunately. Let's see how it brakes. Braking point. Brakes could be better. Especially for something that looks like a race car. This thing looks like it's crapping when it's turning. Do you see that? That's weird. Nah, even in slow corners this is bad. Okay, let's go ahead and say that this is an unpolished car and not give it a score. Also, that rear window looks hideous. This is meant to be a hardtop convertible. I used to be good at geology, but haven't done much in a while. Yeah, same here. Currently, Russia and Ukraine are in a war. I am Ukrainian side because Russia did some horrible stuff. Yeah, no, Russia should go fuck off. I have Ukrainian friends. They hate Russia. Good news, Mr. Phil. The front lip is able to create a fire. Haha, good. So if you're in the middle of nowhere and you need heat, you just stuff turning the heater on, just go buy some like dry bushes and drive really fast. What car does Russia make? I don't know. Let's just move on from Russia. Well, the front wing's scraping, so the front grip is going to be bad. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Let's move on to the next car then. Next car is, the Rotokin. What's the music volume like right now? Yeah, it's alright. This will be quite loud as well. Be prepared for the loud car. Americans say Paris when being asked which country they're going to. I don't know what that means, Fanny. Why does it sound funny? Modified engine sounds, and it's meant to be a rotary. I'm not sure where he's going there by Joe Enderman. Also, I don't think I said hello to you, Joe Enderman. So welcome, Joe Enderman. Now that's a Dorito sound? Yeah. Sounds my cousin's fake toy lawnmower. Dorito engine nice? Yep. Yeah. Brap, brap. Now that doesn't sound right. Like, it sounds off-key. Like, I know that they do get, like, quite, screechy, but that does not sound right at all. That sounds very wrong. Oh, understeer at high speeds, unfortunately. For what's meant to be a race car? There's no front aero. Looks like they've got a lip on there, but there's no actual front aero. So the faster you go, the more this is going to understeer. No war will happen because they will lose Europe gas income. No, I don't think that's going to be a problem. God damn, that's a choppy idle. Yep. Brap, brap, brap. It's fine. You read my comments? Okay. That's a broken rotary. What, did Phil ever welcome me? Did I not? If I haven't, welcome Shadow353. How's it going? Sorry about that. Why does it sound like a baby scream? Yeah, it does! I'm just imagining a baby right now. It doesn't sound right. Like they've done something wrong. And copious amounts of understeering during poo on. Lots of understeer. Let's try some low speed then. Hopefully that'll help the situation. Brakes aren't good enough. I'm assuming that has to do with downforce. Yeah, even at low speeds you've got understeer. Yeah, it sounds like a baby crying. Now I can't unhear it. Thanks, brah. Well done. Demons are coming out of the car. Oh god, stop the demons. Yeah, I think we're done. Do we have other things? Do we have, no other J-beam? It was just the sound. Okay. Unfortunately, I think the J-beaming was executed a little bit poorly with wrong audio. Now, I know it's maybe not actually a J-beam file, but you know what I mean. Editing the files in post is the idea there. Okay, styling. It's a little too basic for my liking. I'm gonna turn that off. That's just too loud. Oh, you know, actually, hold on. I'll leave that on, but I'll turn my headset down. Okay, there we go. Probably use baby crying MP3. Styling, we're gonna go with like a 6. It's not particularly great. Acceleration is pretty good, so we'll give that an 8, I think. I don't know. Handling, like a 3. Fun factor is gonna be like a 3. Call factor is gonna be like a 9 because it's a quad rotor. Trackability, like a 1. Like, the fun factor in handling are not particularly terrible, but trackability is very low. Like, you can still race it, but it's just too much understeer. Features. Doesn't even have a dashboard. So we're going to go ahead and give that like a 0. Comfort. It's probably going to be quite low. It is a race car. So like a 2. Quality is probably going to be quite low on a custom vehicle like this. Like they may be bespoke, but usually that sort of usually means that it's not going to be the most reliable. So quality is going to be quite low. Practicality is a 2-seater, so we'll give it 2. Hold on. Yep, it is 2-seater. You know what? It's got those harnesses in there. Probably would reduce comfort and practicality. I don't know. Value is probably not going to be particularly great on this. Modified cars like quad rotors are not going to be worth a whole lot, so that'll be quite low. Ongoing costs, that's going to get a 0. J-beam editing, they're done okay, but not particularly great, so we'll give it a 3. Would I buy it? Not with that amount of understeer, so that's going to get like, I know, a 0, because it's also probably going to be way out of my price range. What is the price of this car? 250,000. Yeah, that's going to be a total no for me. Je ne sais quoi? I think everything's fairly representative. The realism factor, maybe like a 2? Because I feel like a race car would be a lot better than that. Must be a beginner that he thought that a lip produces downforce and beam. Yeah, I'm very confused because they were able to actually do J-beam editing. Rotaries are rare, so I feel you, mate. At least he didn't use crazy fog as an engine sound? Sure, okay. Is it possible to extract from other games, i.e. Assetto Corsa? Yes. I haven't done it though myself. On a serious note, you are right in the fact that the engine sounds for that type of engine is somewhat rare on YouTube. Yeah. The demon spawner is active and not wanted. Okay. I'm sure someone has good rotary recordings. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's out there. So, not a big fan. Not a big fan. Yeah, and put door cards in. Poo-poo. Here we go. This looks like it could be Japanese. Ursa Minor. It sounds... Let's have a look at the description. Here we go. Okay. So, by Broken Ursa, 2020 car... $63,500, as close as automation can get to a Volkswagen VR6 engine in the back. Sure. Let's have a look at the rest. What country is this meant to be? No. No. This is probably one of my more favorite looking cars today as well. Something about it just looks nice. Here we go. 316 horsepower rear-wheel drive car, close on to VR6, built in 2020. Google Drive link both .car and .zip. You can just give me .zip. I don't need the .car. I don't use that. Unfortunately, you've got no country here. Broken Ursa, I think they left, didn't they? I don't know. It's a European engine, so let's go ahead and put it in a European map. Oh no, Broken Ursa is here. Oh, sorry. Okay, I didn't realize you were still here, bro. Ursa Minor is actually American, but it's by the brand where I just screw around and make cars I want to make. Okay, let's take it to an American racetrack then. Free roam. West Coast. And I feel like this would be a nice race car. Automation isn't a horse designing game, what? I saw somebody say something about a horse, but I didn't really read it. Yo, who made that Yoda's 49B? It looks super cool. I do like the rear end of this car. I like all of it. It just kind of looks nice. Reminded me of like it looks like an EV almost. Very quiet engine. Very slow off the line. Very smooth power delivery. Very slow 0 to 100. How much power did you say this had? 316 horsepower? Oh. Is that wrong? Am I wrong? Is that actually... Car gives off happy sound? What? Let's go ahead and... UI apps. It feels slow, but... it might not be slow. No, it's not acceleration. What is it called again? God damn it, I can't remember the name of the thing. Here we go. Performance timers. That's the name of it. Okay, let's give that a quick try, shall we? Without clutch dumping, which we can't do anyway. 5 seconds to 100. What is the price of this car? It had better be not that high. $63,500. For 5 seconds? Actually, you know what? That's not so bad. Managed to get 2 minutes and 3 seconds here on the West Coast track. Oh, okay. I even beat out my GT4 car somehow. Oh dear. 0 to 60 maybe. Very European looking, not very American though. I'd agree, but there's also a lot of American cars that don't look American, so... I mean, I give them a bit of a pass there, especially on a car looking a lot like this. Now, rear engine. We have recently learned that that is the meta. Just go flat 6. Sex? Flat 6 rear engine. Come on, get it turned in. There we go. You know what, actually, yeah, turn-in's quite nice. Let's go ahead and turn ESC off now and see how it handles with this very tall mid-engine sort of car. Acceleration out of the corner is not particularly great, and I think that might have to do with, sorry, like the handling on acceleration out of a corner. Yeah, like it lurches a little too much, and I think that has to do with the taller engine. I think with a flat engine, this would have been a little bit better. Looks like a mix between Ford and Ferrari. And MR2. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't like to accelerate through corners. It actually feels rather quite smooth and nice. It's just a comfortable, nice car. I think the choice of engine personally was wrong, but with the way it actually still does pretty well at handling, I think people would not be upset with it. Especially since it doesn't have like a behemoth amount of power either. So I think if it had like a lot of power, it would become a problem. But it just has like a pretty nice amount of power. Gets a little bit skittish there on like tricky geometry of racetrack. But yeah, quite nice. I probably should have stiffened the suspension a bit. Nah, the suspension's actually, that is like a cross between comfort and sports. And that's what you'd expect from an American car. So I'm not going to poo-poo you on that one, actually. It looks pretty decent. Just soft enough. It lurches a little bit here and there. So that means that it's probably a little bit more comfortable. Not a European comfort, but still pretty darn good. It is a little bit European-ish in the comfort, but yeah, it looks alright. It looks partially Acura. Yeah, it looks a little bit like a Honda and Audi? Okay, yeah, looking at here, I see a little bit of Audi, but yeah. Sort of reminds me of a modern Honda NSX a little bit. But better looking, yeah. I don't know about the new Honda NSX. I'm not a big fan of it. It looks just okay. As what's meant to be like a cross between a super and a sports car, it just doesn't make me feel special compared to other modern cars. Doesn't tingle at all. Okay, once this thing gets into a tank slapper, it suffers from not front engine-itis. Yep. Secret little wing hidden there. I did see it fall off. Okay, I think it's time to get this on the scope. I do like it. Is it mind-blowing? No. But is it fun? Yeah. This music is very quiet. Hopefully you can still hear it though. Maybe I'll turn it up a bit because it sounds funky. How's that? Damn it, I didn't actually change the volume, did I? Yeah, whatever. You know what? It's actually fine. This was one of my only cars I built without using a set of reference cars to get a feel for the design. I just went with what I thought looked good. Nice. I do like it. So, the styling. Is it a ballistic poster-hanging supercar that kids will be like, oh yeah, that's the coolest looking car ever? No. But does it look nice? Yes. And I think it looks really nice. So we're going to give it like an 8. No, a 7, because it's not ballistic looking. So, it's like understated. Really nice. I think it looks... You know what, actually? I'm going to say that styling will always be considered relative in at least some regard. So, for an understated design, I think it is a really nice design, because I really like it. Acceleration, it's fast, but it doesn't feel blistering. So I think I'm going to go with like a 7. Handling. It's fairly good. We'll go an 8 on that. Fun factor, it feels a little bit numb, so we'll go with 7 on that one. Cool factor, it's going to be pretty high. It's got a VR6, a lot of people like that sort of stuff. Trackability is going to be somewhere around an 8. I don't know if it's meant for racetracks, so longevity of a endurance race, I don't know. Have you said anything about, like... You've not said anything about, like, it being a race car, so maybe it is just a sports car with that understated rear wing. So maybe the trackability, like, it's not meant to be a race car. As for features, let's go in and have a look. We have... It looks like a basic sort of stuff, and then an iPad for the screen. So I'm guessing that the features aren't particularly high. I don't see any AC vents, so that's going to get really uncomfortable. Haha, you missed that, didn't you? So features are going to be like a 6. Comfort, I'm assuming sports car. It's going to be okay, but not great. So comfort's going to be somewhere like a... How thin are the seats? They're not too thin, so maybe like a 7. Quality is probably going to be higher. It is a German car, but also being a lower production run car, we're going to give it like a 7. Practicality... Doesn't have rear seats. It really should have rear seats. So I'm going to give it like a 3. Because being rear, it'll have at least more room to put things in. Like there's a... I see a little cubby compartment back there for putting things in. Value. What was the price? $63,500. I don't know if the value is really that good. It's not really exceptional in any sort of way, and that sort of price range would start making you think that there's got to be something special about the car. So I'm going to go with like a 6. I'm assuming that the second-hand value on that is going to plummet really bad. Ongoing costs. Probably going to be actually pretty good because it is a... No, actually, you know what? It's Volkswagen Audi Group. So ongoing costs, about a 6. Not terrible. J-Beam editing. I don't see any, so that has nothing there. That's fine. These are modifiers, though, by the way. Like, a 0 does not mean bad. It just means that, like, there's nothing really to put there. Would I buy it? Used, if it got cheap enough, which it never would? Yeah, hell yeah. So for someone like a 6. The je ne sais quoi. I think it has a bit of je ne sais quoi. And then realism, something like a 7. I doubt that it would be a tall rear engine. So a 97. It's a pretty good score. I think the modern NSX had an identity crisis, but it wanted to be a supercar or a sports car. Yeah, I agree. The C8 Corvette looks very Ferrari to me. I agree. A good car, whoever made the car here. I do like it. That's Broken Oso who made it, by the way, just below you in the chat. But you have a lot of trunk boot space. Sure. It's about the same price as an Alpine A110, but you get more car for the price. Sure, okay. I don't care for the Alpine A110 either. I don't think it actually looks good at all. Alright, so, next car is the final car of the night. So, the Vemurti Atlas A290. Okay, this is the Vemurti Atlas A290 VR, and I believe VR stood for something, but I can't remember what it is. By Agnosion. Thank you for the car, Agnosion. I believe I saw you in the chat earlier. I don't know if you're still here, though. I don't know the year of it, but the price is $69,000. Top of the line car by Vemurti. It's the fastest Atlas ever made. This car competes with the BMW M3 and the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. Yeah, I do have that right. I'd never actually heard about the Quadrifoglio until it was brought up in that one Grand Tour episode, and I was like, what the hell is this name? Which car has the lowest fill score? I don't know. Gordon Murray brought himself an Alpine A110 and sold his F1. Oh, really? I think the McLaren F1 looked good, but I don't like his other cars. But we'll leave that because we're going to be talking about it in the next podcast that we do. If you guys don't know, I started a new podcast channel, and it'll be me and Automation BeamNG creators. We had Shiny Odd, we had Twin Turbos, and Vens with me for the first one. It just came out, I think, like yesterday or the day before. My brain's not working too well right now. But yeah, go check that out. There will be one a month, hopefully, and we will be talking about the Gordon Murray, especially the new T33, I think it is. Yeah. Anyway, no J-Beam editing there on the steering wheel, so we're just going to be judging this one entirely upon its exterior. So this is meant to compete with a BMW. So I'm getting the feeling this is actually meant to be European. So let's take it to a European map. Might take it to a European racetrack, maybe? Nah, you know what? It could stay here. A podcast, yes. Or podcast. Alpha use brand portfolio since the 1960s, I believe. Okay, then, yeah. Alfa Romeos are not very common here in Australia. They are very rare. From what I've heard, the A110 is really nice car to drive, but it has a bit of a awkward design and massively overpriced for what you get. Sure, okay. The podcast would be fun. Sure. What channel is it? You can find it on my Discord under video announcements. It's this one right here. And the channel is somewhere. I'll figure it out later. What's this person saying? Why is this person messaging me in the middle of a stream? Mutual service. They're in my server. They know that I'm streaming. I want to block that person now for doing that. Anyway, let's go ahead and turn the ESC off. Is this all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive? It's just rear-wheel drive. And it is a 5-cylinder. Okay. Very laggy off the line, but when the turbo kicks in, it's pretty decent. Really wallowy suspension, unfortunately. And it gets into like real tank slappers. That is a problem. Not bad on handling though. The mid high speeds are doing all right. I likey. Are the podcasts live? No, they're not. At least not for now. They'll be post-edited. You need to have owned an Alpha to be a true petrol head. The words of a wise man. Sure, but once again, Alfa Romeos are incredibly rare in Australia. And the only ones that are affordable are shit. Because they're like broken, clapped out, not treated well. They're just not very popular here in Australia. So I think that statement doesn't entirely ring true. Brakes are atrocious. Really atrocious. We were not going that fast and it still happened to do that bad. So yeah, this is not getting that particularly good of a score. Alright, it's kind of fun. But yeah, not great. Way too wallowy. Has this got hard long life tires? What is going on? Like, they look really super wide, but they're not doing a whole lot. What kind of tire is that? Is that sports? How is there such little traction from such what should be a traction-y tire? Let's go ahead and give this a score, because it's kind of disappointing, unfortunately, which is really disappointing, because I thought it would be much better than that, because it got such high votes from people. I think it was like one of the top ones? No, I'm mistaken. Am I? Yeah. Nope, I was mistaken. Where is it? Nope. Nope. Ah, here it is. Okay. No, it's only got 3 votes, one of which is from me. Because it just looked kind of mildly pleasing. Alright, let's go ahead and give it a score. Clear out the scores. Since this is the last car, may as well turn the music up just a smidge. It's still a little bit low. Let's turn it up even more. Good. Some wind down music. How do you put the interior into a car? That is pretty off topic, but if you'll have advice, I have a hard time doing it. You are using the latest version of automation, right? Or at least like one of the latest, where you can place things 3-dimensionally, right? You just do it. Just put things in. Make sure that your proportions are right. The steering wheel here is in the right place, which is quite rare for a lot of creators. They put it usually in the wrong place. You know what? I've gone over this a bunch of times. Maybe look at last stream. I think I went into it a lot there. So watch last week's stream. You'll get a lot of tips there. Why you gotta be streaming? Why you gotta be streaming? Wanted to watch the cheap Lotus vid. I won't give it away, Revhang, but you seem to have made statements. But welcome, Revhang. You've come here at the very last car. Let's go ahead and give it its fill score. So, styling. I mean, it looks okay, but it is a bit basic, but it's all contiguous. It works quite well. Getting Naruto vibes from the rear, and I just don't know why. To make an interior, you have to bang your head into the ground. So, I don't really score much upon the interior, but I do really appreciate it. So, keep that in mind. So, styling. Somewhere around a 6. It's okay. It's not great. Acceleration, like a 7. It's pretty good, but it feels weird because the handling is quite bad, so... A 5? No, I feel like a 5. But then again, the braking is really bad. You know, no, we'll leave it around a 5. Fun factor, the brakes are terrible, but you could do burnouts and stuff, so we'll give it at least a 5. No, we'll put it at 6, so at least it's on the correct side of 5. Fun. Cool factor. I don't know if it's going to be particularly high. Trackability. It's going to be pretty bad in that one because the brakes are pretty terrible, but at least it has lots of power. So, features. What have we got for features? It's also... Oh, good, they've done a proper sunroof. I like it. Well done. I don't know, moderate maybe? Like a 7? It's hard to tell. Comfort. Probably a little too uncomfortable, but at least it has, like... comfortable tires. The seats aren't going to be particularly comfortable, so we'll give it somewhere like a 6 because it's also a little bit too wobbly to be comfortable, but at least it's soft. Quality, it looks like an American car, honestly, so it's going to be okay. It's going to be like a 7. You know what? Maybe an 8 if it is American. If it's European, not so much. You know what? It is an inline 5, so it probably is European, so we'll go back down to a 7. Practicality. Sedan, 5-seater, which you can adopt to a thing. It's got a rear seat, so like an 8. Fairly practical. Value. What's the price on it? Being a new car, $69,000. Value, I mean, you're not getting... anything special for it, so we're gonna go like a 7. You get what you pay for, but it's not like an excessive car, and the drop-off in price is gonna be pretty harsh. Especially on a European car, values on those do drop quite harsh in most parts of the world. Ongoing costs. I guess... oh, that, no, not that. 6, maybe? JVM editing, none. Would I buy it? I get 2, it's got lots of power, but that's about it. The je ne sais quoi? I think it's fairly well represented. Realism is going to be somewhere like an 8. I don't think I've ever seen a rear-wheel drive, purely rear-wheel drive inline 5, but I don't see there, like from factory that is. I don't see any problem with that front engine rear drive sort of thing. Hey, wait, no, I'm going to make the lowest fill score. Okay. Go for it. Good luck getting votes for it, I suppose. Make a shopping cart, then that should get you what you want. I actually made a shopping cart. YouTube Studio. And because it's a meme build, didn't do very well. There you go. So, I made a shopping trolley, don't ask. If you want to see something fun, this apparently is a very fun video, by what people have said, go check it out. It's a fun little video. I made a shopping cart. It was fun. What else can I say? You didn't give it a je ne sais quoi thingy? Yeah, as I said, I feel as if there is nothing that's not represented in the score. So I think the je ne sais quoi, there's nothing... So je ne sais quoi means, literally, I don't know what. I should put that, I don't know what, because otherwise it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about. So, everything is represented here, so there's nothing that's not represented, which means that there's nothing I don't know. which sounds a bit cocky, but you know what I mean. Sounds really dickish. Let's go ahead and call that one a day. 84. That's actually still a good score for a car which I'm not particularly fond of. So yeah. Where do I post the cars? I think I'll make a car. Check the description. It is written there. There's a link to the Reddit. What is my Discord? What? You haven't seen the shopping cart? It was fun. Dan Koopman liked it. Okay, guys. I hope you all liked it. And if you do like it, make sure you've liked the video, or stream, I should say. But yeah, this will be a VOD if anybody wants to go check over things, all that sort of stuff. And remember that there is that little bit of a challenge theme if you want to partake in that sort of theme for the next week, which is 200 horsepower. And don't make it just a boring generic car. I mean, you can. You can do whatever you want. You can post a 6,000 horsepower car if you really want. But 200 horsepower is the theme, if you like. Try to make it, and also like put a little bit of a comment somewhere saying that it is part of the 200 thing, so I can know how many there are when I'm making the thumbnail and titles for the stream. But yeah, go ahead, do that. Make something really interesting with 200 horsepower. If it's a little hatchback, that would be fun. Just don't make like a Toyota Camry. Just some car. Mid-range Audi. Non-sports model, 200 horsepower. You can do that if you want. But I want to see you try to go like 200 horsepower. I've got just the thing that'll make you go like, that's not what I was thinking. That's what I want to think. I want to think that I don't know what I was thinking when I was expecting things. Surprise me! Hopefully that worked. Did that get the whole distortion filter? Did that like blow your eardrums out and everything? I hope it did. Did it just deafen everyone? Is everyone deaf now? I don't know why you put the little monkey thing there with a hammer. I'm not sure. It is a good video, but it is a little too much focused on the road trip. Oh, you're talking about the video? Okay, then. Well, no, I didn't... No, it didn't blow my ears. Oh, okay, then. But your eyes? No? Okay, then. Well... I hope everyone has enjoyed today's stream. I don't feel like giving my money to another company, so we're not going to do a special outro. I'll figure that out at some point. But for now... Thanks, Phil. Now I need to go to the doctor tomorrow. I guess you're winding up? Yeah, we are. Let's say thank you for coming by to everybody. Oh, I'm stretching right now and it feels so good. Oh, that's a good stretch. Oh, that feels so good. Thank you, Fanny Faxbear, for coming by. Thank you, Space Warrior, for coming by. Thank you, Joe Enderman, for coming by. I don't believe I've seen you around here before. Or maybe I have, I'm not sure. Crownless, thank you for coming by once again. Dan Koopmans, thank you for coming around so often. Game Boy Terrorista, thank you for coming by. Who else we got here? Thank you, PTR. I'm just gonna narrow you down to PTR. Thank you, Shadow, for coming by. Thank you, Revhang, for popping by. Who else we got here? Let's scroll up a little bit more. A lot of the same. Broken Ursa, thank you for coming by and hanging around for so long. If I didn't say that already. Did I say that already? I'm not sure. Have a good night or day, middle of cheese. It is 3:50 a.m. First live of yours, Phil? Ah, well then, welcome, Joe Enderman. I hope you enjoyed the stream. If not, maybe a little too long. Oh yes, Thomas as well, and thank you, FlameZ. I'm currently starting the F1 body. Okay, I hope you guys doing body. Ah, Chen was here as well. Thank you, Chen, for popping by. I'm not sure if you're still here, though. Chen was not the first commenter, no. That was somebody else that I'd... not recognized. Unfortunately, the chat doesn't go that high. I kind of forgotten what their name is. If I saw them, I'd probably be able to remember it. It was something. I said hello to them in the beginning, so there's that. But yes, thank you, everyone. Aaron F. Oh, welcome and goodbye. For now, that'll have to do. So, goodbye. Whoops, sorry. No special outro. None of that for you. Please don't take my money.